things, I'm sharp like a knife. Small time streamer, no fame, no crown, but my voice is my own, I won't back down. I guess I'm too raw, too rough, too plain, but I'm spitting my heart, not chasing some game. No corporate leash, no puppet on strings. I'm free in my words, the truth that I bring. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my taste. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough. Got a webcam flicker and a beat in my chest. Bass takes in my veins, spilling facts is my quest. I'm breaking the mold, no mainstream appeal. Just a kid with a dream and a heart made of steel. I sift through the data, the left and the right. No bias, no agenda, just seeking the light. They laugh at my setup, my low res stream, but my words cut deeper than the corporate screen. I guess I'm too raw, too rough, too plain, but I'm spitting my heart, not chasing some game. No corporate leash, no puppet on strings. I'm free in my words, hear the truth that I bring. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my taste. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough. I'm the spark in the dark, the glitch in the code. Carving my lane on this uncharted road. Million subs, no viral fame, but I'm owning the truth and I'm changing the game. I'll scream till my lungs give out, till the signal's dead. Every word that I speak is the blood that I bled. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my takes. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough.
Hey everybody, welcome in. Happy Monday. Let's give a big round of applause to DB Wild once again for the intro music for the channel. Much appreciated. You give yourself a pat on the back, buddy. I saw DB Wild, if you guys don't follow him on YouTube and Twitter, this man has been kicking ass on all sorts of AI videos and music and whatnot. So it's something that I've thought about dabbling in myself, but I don't have time for. So again, thanks DB. I appreciate you, buddy. It's Monday, guys. It's Monday again. It's crazy. There's a lot of news to cover. So tonight we're going to hit on a few of the trending stories, a couple things that are, I think worth touching on, giggity. And then we're going to get into the actual news. You forgot it's Monday? I wish it wasn't Monday. I wish it was Friday. This weekend flew on by. So, hey, H. Brown, good morning. This weekend was not very enjoyable, I'm not going to lie. My oldest son turned 13. And regretfully, his birthday was not the problem. Saturday we had dinner with my family. Makes your giblets tingle? I'm glad. He do be carrying the channel, absolutely. No, I didn't realize that he was also loaning himself out, whoring himself out over at side scrollers. I'm like, dude, I thought I was special. But no, so we had my son's 13th birthday dinner on Saturday, which was fun. He got to see his in-laws and, whatever, it was fine. My in-laws, his family. And then Sunday, we went up to this Mariners baseball fan appreciation thing we were basically up there in Seattle for like 6 hours and accomplished nothing, got nothing for our time, stood in line for a couple silly little events, and, had to buy stadium food, had to get fast food on the way home. It was kind of a train wreck. Oh, you're sledding yourself out. That's even worse, man. If you're going to be whoring yourself out, at least get paid for it, man. Come on. The Vicky Shotbolt class representative Valve Corporation case has almost nothing to do with what people are saying it's about on YouTube. I actually have not heard anything about that. What is the Shotbolt class representative v Valve Corporation thing? I haven't even heard about that. Hang on, I got to look this up now real quick. This is nothing to do with like the UK case, right? Vicky Shotbolt. Oh, it is that case. Okay. I wasn't sure. Oh, okay, that's the actual case name. It's PCR alleges Valve Corporation abused its dominance in breach of Section 18 of the Competition Act. Okay, yeah, got it. Yo, Truth, how's it going, buddy? Heyo again. Did you leave, Avernum? You couldn't even stick around. Come on. Wait, what happened? You fell asleep or something? You can't get up at like the wee hours of the morning just to see my ugly face? Come on, man. Let's see. It's the UK suing Valve trending. They didn't actually look into it. No worries. Yeah, I actually haven't made a video specifically on that. We touched on the Epic versus Steam controversy, the drama around that with Tim Sweeney backing the case against Steam and all that good stuff. I did not actually cover the case because the case itself I knew very, very little about. And to be honest, I didn't feel qualified to talk about it, so... And now I'm from the loo. Dude, Avernum, I respect it a lot of times. If I'm in somebody else's chat, half the time I'm probably in the bathroom. You know what? You got to do what you got to do. So, yeah, just the whole thing on my son's 13th birthday was kind of a shit show. It was not a whole lot of fun. Which sucks because he's a big sports fan. He's a big, baseball and football kid. But, we got the Seahawks in the Super Bowl coming up this Sunday. He'll be happy about that. I have no plans for this weekend. We're just going to stay home. My kids have baseball evaluations on Saturday, so we got to do that first. And then it's just back to life as usual. I'm going to have softball season starting up here next month, guys. So hopefully, I don't know what all my kids' schedule is going to look like because they're all getting older, which means that we have like the evening practices and the evening games. So it'll probably throw, now that we're getting back into a regular swing of having multiple streams a week, it'll probably throw a monkey wrench in that. Not even gonna lie. My promiscuity to side scrollers originally started as a silly little joke. Then Craig started hitting you up with a few requests. Oh, that's awesome. It's your safe space. I respect it. And I just mixed up on a whim he might use. Dude, that's cool. I mean, even if it's not, a source of revenue for you at the moment, if it's something that gets you more visibility, I'm all for it. I mean, Wagon Burner, you've seen him in the chat. He's taken to where he's actually just writing articles and stuff on Twitter. And his little Twitter account started at 40 followers, and now it's several hundred. I think it's probably close to 1,000 now. Tim Sweeney keeps proving why he's such a jealous bitch, not beating the allegations. No, man, he's not beating those allegations at all. So let's go ahead and jump into a few of these topics that are not something I plan on covering for the entire stream, and then we'll move on to the actual important stuff. Reminder, guys, if you're going to pick up any games, go check out Instant Gaming, link down below. It puts $1 per game purchase in my pocket to help support the channel. And of course, I know computer shit's expensive. I feel bad even trying to push people to buy a computer right now. It's partly why I haven't brought it up much. But if you are looking to buy a pre-built Meta PCs, these guys are awesome. I was just talking about it on Words of Paradise's stream with all this advanced GG stuff dropping, people like Rev and his wife and everything like Dick. I know for a fact, I've talked with Zach behind the scenes, that there would be no cancellation of my channel if there was a mob trying to come after me for some shit that I said. So Highguard's dead, was never alive. I love it. Nobody knows what Scotty K Fitness is. You guys are all very, very lucky for not really knowing about Scotty K Fitness, because that man and his mustache is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. No worries, Susano. I'm just throwing those things out there because I'm very bad at shilling for myself. Even if it's look, I buy keys on Instant Gaming. I'm going to pick up a couple copies of Titanfall for my kids because I was telling my kids I'm getting tired of playing Apex Legends. Even though The nights that I'm actually focusing playing with them, I'm like, I can actually hold my own in like gun run and wild card and all those other match modes. After playing Highguard, for some weird reason, Apex is clicking with me again. But I'm like, guys, Titanfall 2 is better. So I'm trying to talk my kids into all playing Titanfall 2. So I'll be picking them up copies for like $3 or $4 over on Instant Gaming. It's not even that expensive, but I already have one, don't need two. Yeah, exactly, Avernum, 100%. Hey, Geekazu. Enjoying your coffee, I assume. Stuff that really blown up is if I do anything related to existing VTubers. VTuber stuff is insane, man. VTuber stuff is absolutely wild. That's the craziest thing. It's like every other day there's some controversy with some VTuber or some, you know, I don't know. The whole VTubing world it's kind of foreign to me. I don't really pay attention too much to VTubers. Obviously, I know a couple of them. Technically, like Hypnotic is a VTuber. Cinevere, she streams with Leon over at Words Paradise. She's a VTuber. So I'm connected to a few VTubers, but like not really, yeah. I think I like the Iron Lung trailer. Granted, I don't remember why. I haven't even seen a trailer for this movie. This is the craziest thing. So Iron Lung is one of those indie games that's on my wish list. It's like $6. Eventually, I'll just pick it up to play it on stream. But the movie cost them a couple $1 million, I think. So Markiplier, excuse me, another YouTuber who I've never even watched. I think he's a little before my time. Like, to be fair, I think Markiplier started getting famous, like really blowing up, like what, 10 years ago? But he produced and I think starred in this adaptation of the Iron Lung game. And apparently it's earned like 21.5 million globally, which is insane because the movie cost, I can't even find where the actual amount is. I think it only cost like $1 or $2 million to make. Couldn't find any lobbies. Truth, I have never had a problem connecting to Highguard. Of all the problems people have with the game, connecting for a match has never been a problem for me. You won't convince them because no one in their age group talks about Titanfall. It's not hip with kids. Well, Vernum, you got to remember, my kids are homeschooled. So the only kids that they talk to are kids with, like, you know, that they already know through friend groups, church group, you know, baseball, whatever. So Iron Lung is an indie game, I'm pretty sure. And how are you doing, Lucia? Good to see you in here. I did make a note to look into it more. No, it seems... Oh, you just saw the Minecraft thing. It seems like a cool game. In fact, let me go ahead and pull this up while I'm thinking about it. In fact, I'll just pull my Steam account up here. I got nothing to hide on Steam. I don't play those kind of games. Dude, Iron Lung is $4. It's half off right now. It's made by David Zimansky. So obviously self-published. Creator of Squirrel Stapler, Moonsliver. Yeah, so it was an indie game that they turned into a movie, that adapted for a movie. And it's basically just like a psychological horror type game, right? Where you're stuck in a sinking submarine. Instead of spending $300 million on a retarded idea, blowing half of it on marketing, and then going bankrupt, right? Exactly. I don't know, like... that I don't even know how long the game is. Came out in 2022. But, I mean, good for him. Good for him. Good for these guys that they took this game that was just, you know, kind of a weird indie title that I'm sure didn't sell that many copies at first, but it's really well reviewed. People say it's great, so I don't know. Says it's experimental minimalist gameplay where your senses are limited and anything can be lurking around you. Glimpse your surroundings through the lens of a grainy still camera. Navigate... Oh, that'd be creepy. Navigate using an incomplete satellite map and proximity sensors. Horror based around building dread and paranoia. Original soundtrack inspired by the work of Aubrey Hodges from Doom 64. Short experience intended to be finished in under an hour. Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's like an hour or two. Exactly, short game. Got more content. I only saw the first gameplay that Markiplier did long ago. It was fun to watch. I mean, it's cool. It's something different. It's interesting. I got no problem with it being short because it's not an expensive game. It's definitely like you buy a movie ticket, you go see a movie. This is kind of the same way. Except this you could actually replay if you want to. An indie game got a movie. Yes, exactly, Lugia. They knew how much it would probably earn them and then tailor the budget to that. Dude, that's the thing. It's like as long as they know that they have a built-in customer base for it, You just have to stick to what you know you can do well and not blow the budget on some stupid shit. Like, honestly, the amount of people who are attached to either a video game or a movie that don't need to be there, but then, of course, they have like these departments that say you got to have these check boxes and all that good stuff, you know? I don't trust reviews when it comes to creator-made stuff. Their fan base will glaze it, while others would barely know about it. Dude, honestly, I have seen people that I follow online who are not the glazing type watch it and say this movie was actually surprisingly good. So, yeah, the plot's safe. While I probably am not going to be rushing out to the theater to see it, I'll watch it if it's available online afterwards. Absolutely. So we had, apparently it was Groundhog's Day, and Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, predicting 6 more weeks of winter. GameStop tweeted out, "We're offering $100 in trade credit for anyone who brings us Punxsutawney Phil, no questions asked." God, can you imagine the trouble GameStop would get into if somebody actually did that? Same thing with Shad's book. Fins Love It, bought it, supported him, but honestly, I couldn't read past the 20th page. Shad's an interesting one. Shadiversity, I think is who you're talking. Is it Shadiversity? Is his YouTuber name? Interesting guy. Seems something about him is kind of odd to me. You know, is very much a book, first book from a beginning author. Yeah, and you know the thing, Avernum. The one thing I have heard from a lot of authors, because tragically, when I was plugged into Fandom Pulse and John Della Rose in that circle, there were also a lot of authors, the self-published indie authors, sci-fi authors that were kind of like in that rotating circle of conversations that I was overhearing. A lot of them say, look, the fact of the matter is you're probably not going to do your best work, especially with books that you're putting out there that you're publishing, within your first 10 or 15 books. It's going to take a while before your actual, good book, your breakout title actually gets released. I think game development's probably similar. Maybe same thing with, I don't know, screenplays or whatnot, but didn't know that he wrote, but that was like a decade ago. Yeah, he's not a creator that I really keep tabs on. I know that he did that whole thing where he was trying to piss people off with his AI art, and I thought it was funny. The thing is, I think he took it all very seriously. It depends. It could very well depend, Avernum. No. This is just my little intermission screen. Most of the time, dude, I've had this for several years now. This is just typically for like fill in and stuff. And so the constantly moving pieces, I didn't know was going to be a thing. A couple of years ago when I paid the gal on Fiverr who made all my stuff, I thought it was just going to be like a one-time, something with the channel name on it. Dude, honestly, when you're working with people on Fiverr, especially when they're in multiple countries and you have a hard time like speaking to them through translators and stuff, you don't get what you ask for a lot of the times. So she did a decent job, but this is primarily the screen that I'm always on when we're streaming. It's just this one here. That's it. I agree with Avernum. I hear that the fans of the guy that run those minimal effort streams are massive shills and talk about Biggie despite being a bit of a nobody. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to have to worry about that being a thing. But hey, we'll know we made it if we finally get to that point. When will I make a video about that dude? We'll get around to it at some point. I'll be like, my channel's under attack by me. We was kings and shit. Hey, wise ass duck. Yeah, no, Matt Adam, I apologize. It was only supposed to be like the initial splash intro thing, and then it was supposed to just kind of like be like a light colored border, and I don't know. I can mess with it, but it's just one of those things that I haven't bothered with. Anyways, happy Black History Month, guys. Once again, ironically, Halo is like the only game that I ever see putting out this shit, which is crazy because Halo... That would be a great video. I don't know if I have the personality for it, to be honest. I'd have to be like in a very rare mood where I'm just going to be cursing and yelling. It's the same Halo anniversary screen, slightly retouched. Yeah, there's very, very few differences. But from Halo, the whitest game ever made, I'm going to say that, in all honesty, Halo might be the most white guy-coded game to ever exist. No, Avernum. I'm legitimately going to try to have tea on my website because I actually have tea at my work that I actually have been working on for my real life job. but I don't know about doing, unless I was roasting coffee beans myself, in which case I'd have to source beans and buy a roaster and add that to my list of shit that I do at work. I'm not going to be doing coffee. Buying somebody else's coffee and repacking it and doing all that shit, that would be insanely expensive, which is why like people like the quartering, the coffee brand coffee crap. It's why his is so expensive. I buy a 3-pound bag of coffee beans at Costco for anywhere from like $21 to $28, depending on which one I get. 3 pounds of coffee, right? The quartering sells his like half-pound, 8-ounce, 12-ounce bags for like $20. There's just no way, man. There's just no way. I guess it's the colors they're claiming that makes it black. Yes, these are black colors. These are African colors, apparently. Okay. Only month where I celebrate myself below the waist. Yeah, you and me both, buddy. Do we even care? Virtue signaling never stops. Dude, the virtue signaling never stops, man. Even Abubakar Salim put out this, like, motherfucker, you know, Samuel Jackson gif on Twitter. He's like, we're only 2 days into Black History Month. It's like, this is coming from a black dude who hangs out in some fairly woke circles, but apparently even he's having enough of it. I don't know. There's a tea company out there who isn't up for sponsorship. Seen them a couple of times thanks to the Rev Advanced. Oh, yeah, that's... I follow him on Twitter. Dragon's Treasure. He's an interesting guy. He is a very interesting man. I kind of like him. Let me tell you something about the Dragon's Tea guy, though. He's gonna end up on an FBI watch list. I'm not even kidding. Because as much as I say that I'm like, in certain ways, like hardcore right wing, this dude is straight up like, we just need to shoot politicians. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, he just straight up is like, just saying it like it is. And I'm like, all right, okay. Yeah, it says this Black History Month, we're celebrating the creativity and contribution of the black community, not just in Halo, but in our entire industry. Here's to honoring the past, uplifting the present, and championing a future for every Spartan. So, here you go, black people. This is what you get. These funky-ass colored skins. I love it. This Black History Month. What is this, Warhammer? Yeah. Oh, man, everyone's sick to death of it. Then there's this cringe. Hey, Vernon, weren't you talking about the Dragon's Treasure tea guy? Kwanzaa Chief. So let me find this for you. Hang on a second. Anytime, this is actually celebrating white liberal women since they get the most from DEI programs. Exactly, Equilibrium. So anytime there's drama kicking off, let me pull up his Twitter account here. He's also on YouTube. He covers a lot of like anime stuff. Dragon's Treasure, he is like Weeb Tea Central, okay? So anytime there's any sort of like controversy or whatnot, Dragon's Treasure here, he's always up in the middle of it. So somebody gets canceled by a affiliate, a program that they're part of or whatever. He's massively connected to a lot of VTubers. I don't know, there's a VTuber named Akemi, I think it is, that he has some beef with. I mean, there's all sorts of, like, the whole VTuber scene, the drama behind the scenes is crazy. But yeah, this dude, he's got a ton of VTubers who have been canceled. Dragon's Treasure is a tea brand, I think. Well, Dragon's Treasure, in this context, I assume because he talks about it, like, on his streams and stuff, he apparently blends his own tea. That's what the story is, that he actually blends his own. As far as whether or not it's true, I don't know. I assume unless otherwise proven that he doesn't. But yeah, like, he's got a ton of affiliates on his site that use his stuff. And so he's recently trying to get, like, Rev and Rev's wife to sign up with him and all that. But yeah, the dude's, he's funny. He gets into a lot of drama. And he's kind of unhinged when it comes to, like, some of the rants he goes on are pretty crazy. Is he that unhinged? He's pretty crazy. I mean, and I say that in a positive, like, non-negative way. Dude, Equilibrium, your comment got censored on Kick due to hate by the AI mod. That wasn't even me, man. All Equilibrium said on Kick was this is actually celebrating white liberal women since they get the most from DEI programs, and the AI mod deleted it. Holy crap. Dude, I hate Kick so much. All right. Also, we've got Minecraft. Oh, Kick sucks, dude. I hate Kick. I hate Kick. I hate Twitch. I hate all of them. I made all these other platforms at one point or another. I have them, so we multi-stream to them because I have the option to multi-stream to them. But it's like, dude, oh my god. Oh, I missed Matt Adams' comment. Do we even care? The virtue signal will never stop from like the Grammys. I was gonna cover the Grammys, dude, but honestly, I couldn't care less. I hate actors and singers these days so much. It's the worldwide woke virus. So yeah, exactly. I'm surprised Kick has a hate censor, and it's AI too, apparently. Your Rumble led me to your Truth Social page. Yeah, Truth Social, which I haven't logged into or used in God only knows how long, man. One guy on Twitch for Tarkov. You know the funny thing? I don't even watch people on Twitch anymore. It's crazy. Like, I went from only watching Twitch streams to only watching YouTube videos to sometimes catching YouTube live streams to not watching anybody. I don't even go on Twitch anymore, man. It shows. Come on, man. I made dude, okay, this is how crazy shit was. When I first started doing like YouTube and all that, I had a Twitter account, and then I switched from Twitter to Parler. I deleted my Twitter account. The whole mass exodus of people that actually left Twitter, I was part of that, man. Might remove some stuff from that page. I should. But dude, honestly, the thing about Rumble is I have like no viewership on Rumble as it is, so it was one of those things that I need to clean up the Rumble page. I need to clean up that shit. I just haven't bothered to, mess around with it since it's just so, it's not even that big of a deal to me. But I'll get around to it at some point. But yeah, I mean, I left Twitter when Parler became a thing and Parler was actually kicking off. Parler was awesome, dude. But hope days are going well. Hey, Oblivion. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. A little exhausted. The weekend was not fun, but it's all good. Just extra tired today. I don't care who sponsored me, but they'd be taking a risk with me if their products or services were bad. Yeah, exactly, dude. Susano, that's the thing. It's like I've had people approach me for like sponsored videos for weird random products. I've had multiple VPN companies try to hook me up with some sort of affiliate program or sponsored thing, but both times it was some shady shit. Like Proton Mail, but Proton VPN or something. I'm like, okay, this seems kind of fishy. I've gotten like the controllers and stuff, and that's cool. Chinese controllers. Actually, some of the Chinese controllers are pretty good. But, it's just one of those things. Like, if it's something shady or something that you have to really bend your ethics or beliefs on, it's like, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth $100 for your sponsored video or some shit. It's just not worth it. They've quit pushing so much political stuff on their main page. There are a ton of non-political creators over there, but they're hard to find. Vader 5 Chinese controller. Dude, honestly, like I said, there are some decent Chinese controllers out there. Not even gonna lie. And they'll go on Twitch if there's some game drops. Dude, Susano, that is all I use Twitch for anymore is game drops. And even then, I forget to go on there and do it. Or because, like, you get your Amazon free Prime games or whatever. Proton VPN's open source? I don't even know, man. I didn't really follow up the guy that was hitting me up for the Proton VPN sponsorship thing, and I was like, it's probably not even going to be worth it, man. Yo, Cage, ahoy. I need a clip of Dave Landau saying ahoy. Dave is actually a tiny bit shorter than me. It's crazy. So now, I've met Kada, our own semi-relatively famous online person. And then, of course, Dave Landau, who I met in person when my wife and I went and saw him last year. And that man is shorter than me. It's the craziest thing. So, no Raycon, no Raid Shadow Legends, no NordVPN. No, it would have to be something cool. Like, okay, Instant Gaming, they paid me for five sponsored videos a month for 3 months when I first started doing that. And they paid pretty good. They actually paid me more than I make on YouTube pretty much any month. And that was short-lived because once the sales kind of fell off because there wasn't any game worth buying, they're like, okay, see you, bye. Piss off. And it's like, all right, whatever. But I can get behind cheap video games. Hell yeah, Just wish regular people stop listening to the elite about social politics. Dude, for real. Hey, Mahendra. No, Geekazu, that is one of those things that really pisses me off. Anybody who goes, oh, look at this celebrity. They care about me because they said we're on stolen land. It's like, nobody gives a shit. Yeah, Matt Adam, I'm happy with the two, and neither one is even, like, MetaPC's never, quote-unquote, sponsored me. My kids have the hardest time understanding affiliate program versus advertisement versus sponsored ad read, right? Oh, not too much, Mahendra. We really haven't gotten into anything yet. It's just been kind of chatting. I ran into Hayden from Star Wars working because he was doing construction. Oh, that's right. He was. Yeah, I forgot about that. Forgot he did construction work. Ran into Mel Gibson in the woods once. Oh, man, that's a story. Oh, my God. I can't imagine bumping into Mel Gibson. Hey, you know, actually, I remember somebody saying that they had a flat tire and Mel Gibson stopped and helped them change their tire one time. Yeah, celebrities only say what they think if they'll get them more money. Yep. So you're saying I can steal your house then? You know, Wise Ass Duck, I pointed out today on Twitter. I'm like, okay, wait a second. Explain this to me. Because I really want to know the mindset behind this. The people who really hate ICE. Because ICE is, you know, kicking out the illegal immigrants and they say nobody's illegal on stolen land. It's like, okay, hang on a second. It's stolen land because originally people came here who weren't from here and colonized it. They conquered, they settled, they, you know, dominated over the people that were already here and took the land from them. Okay, so that's why it's stolen. So we were immigrants. We were illegal immigrants. We came here and took the land from them. But now it's okay that illegal immigrants come here, but they just want to keep those people here, but we're on stolen land. But they don't look at the illegal immigrants as colonizers, even though they essentially are. It's essentially an invasion, right? And the thing is that what it boils down to is they want the illegal immigrants because they're not white. That's it. It's crazy. Both sides have some massive hypocrites on the immigration thing. Yeah, no, it's true. It is true. They hate ICE because of Trump. You should see the Rage for Melania movie right now. I've seen some weird shit about it. You know, I have seen some weird shit about the Melania movie. And personally, I don't care to watch it. I don't care. The Melania movie thing, it's like, I got a phone call. I put on Discord today. Got a phone call from, I thought it was my wife calling me. I didn't have my phone on me, so I answered the call on my headphones. And it was some Trump campaign thing. Can we count on you? It's like, I'm just like, okay, well, I voted for him and I donated. I bought a MAGA hat. I don't even know where the damn thing is. And I'm like, okay, can we address the whole Epstein thing? And then we'll talk about money? Oh, well, I understand, but I'm like, I know you don't understand. You really don't, you know? Tried to veer away from adult content as well. It didn't work. Yeah, you know, Vernum, that's the thing. People do kind of have to, they got to know what their bread and butter is. 75 million for an autobiography. They should probably wasted money on that thing, probably. I don't know what the Melania movie's about. I got no idea. Meanwhile, the rational people dislike the illegal immigration and unjustified land claims and historical atrocities. It's a weird hole they dug for themselves. Yeah, exactly. It's actually really well edited. Oh, that's good, Cragfire. It's like, I don't care that it exists. If people are interested and they want to watch it, great. If they don't want to watch it, great. That's one of those weird ones where it's like, I have zero feelings on it whatsoever. Melania is the first lady, but she's also more of a celebrity in the fact that her and Trump were together before he was president. He had, he himself was a celebrity. I don't really care. It's cool. It's great. Whatever. But it's pissing off all the right people. It is really funny.
To show someone how much you care.
When knowing nothing, well, hey, it sounds like you got your money's worth, and that's all that matters, right? That is all that matters.
The Democrats really care about the immigrants because they could vote for them. They win.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, that is one of those situations where, depending on, God, you know, it's funny with all this Epstein stuff coming out, and I vowed I was not going to talk about Epstein stuff on stream or, you know, even try to make a video about it, because there's so much now that's come out, and it's like, some of it's true, some of it's not. Some of it confirms your suspicions if you believe everything you see. Some of it's straight up allegations. A lot of it's unproven. Some of it's hearsay. Who knows what's actually there, right? And I'm just looking at it like, okay, guys, if any of these people are actually credibly shown to have gone and done anything on that island, including Trump, including anybody else, I don't care who it was, yeah, launch him into the sun. I don't care. People do this, well, what about your guy you voted for? I don't care. I voted for a guy. I voted for a guy based on policies, and I didn't vote for him based on whether or not I, had previous knowledge of him going to an island. It's like, anybody that can be proven to have gone to that island and done anything illegal, lock him up. I don't care. Firing squad, do whatever you want to, I think he's alive too. But again, it's like, if you don't have credible evidence, you can't make any of those claims. And thanks to the 5, Lucy, I appreciate it, But it's just one of those things, man. Avowed. Yeah, a lot of illegals can get driver's licenses and then vote. Exactly. That's what the slippery slope turns into. It's not just about, oh, well, they're just here overstaying their visa, or it's a work visa, or they're here temporarily seeking asylum. It's like, once they get here, it's the fact that they can have a massive impact on a certain voting bloc that they shouldn't be able to. It's crazy. Just staying away from it as I don't want on my computer, period. Yeah, I mean, Susano, it's also, and they do demographic changes, yes. Okay, so if you're here, again, I use the term illegal immigrants, right? But the people who say, well, there's no such thing as people who are illegal. Even, okay, so take out of the situation people who are not here illegally but who aren't citizens. So even migrants who are here temporarily, if they get, considered part of a census of a, group of the population when they're doing like redistricting or trying to figure out how many delegates everyone gets or whatever, that changes demographics of like the entire, the voting block there. It's crazy. Zara Dami's mom party with him, Clinton Bezos mentioned. But is that proven though? See, Cage, I saw some stuff about that and okay, I don't like Mom Dami, obviously, but is it proven? Is it evidence? Because people are also saying that Trump's a pedo. People say that, and it's like, well, if he is, prove it. And if so, we can deal with it. But if you don't actually have proof, it's all just hearsay, It just means that they're here illegally, not that they're illegal. Yeah, and again, people are like, well, being here illegally is not they say it's not a crime or it's not like an actual felony. It's like, okay, it's still in violation of some law that exists. So you're still, even if it's a misdemeanor, it's still not legally it's not allowed, right? I thought I was a citizen, but I was still illegal, but I was voting. I had no problem voting. I ended up being naturalized once I realized they screwed up. Oh my God. See, this is the process, how screwed up it is. It is criminal. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some people who's like, well, it's not actually a crime or this or that. I'm like, okay, are we saying it's not a crime or are we saying it's not a felony? Like, there's a difference. Reframing it as a human rights violation, then they play dumb about it. Like I said, it's like the conversation about no illegal because stolen land. First off, the land is paid for. It's not stolen. People were conquered. Every plot of land on this godforsaken earth was conquered by somebody at some point. I think it was on the whatever podcast, which I do not watch because I don't have any use for a red pill bro arguing with a bunch of hoes. But I did see a clip where the host was talking to this one gal, and of course she was black, and she was talking about white people are so racist, and white people are the only people that have ever made every other civilization around them worse, and done all these terrible things to other people. And he brought up Genghis Khan and the Mongolian conquest, and she had no idea what he was talking about. She had no clue what he was talking about when it came to Genghis Khan and the Mongolians. It's like, you have no idea what Genghis Khan did? Who this guy was? You're playing Hightail? Nice. Dude, I am so happy to have eaten shit over my Hightail video a couple months ago. I am so glad that that game is doing so well. Like honestly, my hat's off to him, dude. Biggest issue with illegal immigrants, they didn't work hard on taking citizenship. They don't speak the same language as the country. They don't, dude, Mahendra, you hit the nail on the head. The biggest issue is the assimilation. It is like modern day Jerry Springer. Yeah. There is absolutely no attempt to join what it means to be American. And I know people will break it down to be like, well, American, you mean white, Christian, whatever. It's like, no, I mean basing it on the American ideals that were instilled by our English ancestors who came here. And yes, that is a white, English ethno-state or whatever you want to call it. But that's not what America is, but that is where our founding is. So again, the difference between the West and a lot of other parts of the world is we have ideals and customs and morals and things that are based on our European heritage that a lot of other civilizations don't have. Doesn't mean you have to be white to embrace those things, but it does mean you have to embrace the culture that embraces those things. And that's just the problem, right? People always try to boil it down to like, well, you just mean white people. No, I mean the culture that we have here, which was founded by white people. It doesn't mean you have to be white to like it, It's crazy when you start noticing that tendency. Dude, it's just gaslighting, man. It's at this point, it's straight up gaslighting. I think the Whatever podcast is a little unwatchable, but I also watched Jerry Springer a little bit back in the day, so we all have a certain tolerance for a level of cringe to some degree. Anyone who says stolen, not conquered, and still lives in said land is a clown. Yeah, Susano, I'm trying to reduce it down to the simplest mindset about it possible, but, you know, obviously nuance to be found in everything. I do know, though, that the concept of the American melting pot was not really a thing before, like, the early 1900s. That was much more of a more recent thought. 1 year minimum Highguard was too long. You're probably right about that. In Japan, you have to take JPTL exams where you have to study 2,000 official kanjis to get certificate in Japanese language, where you get learned about their culture and manners. Yeah. Yeah, Blithian, I'm not... Here's the thing. There are plenty of people, unfortunately, and I mean, I don't know, it depends on how you look at it, that think, okay, well, America needs to be a white Christian country. Well, okay. Christianity needs to be the predominant religion, and I think we need a moratorium on people bringing other cultures and religions to our country and building mosques and shit, because, like it or not, the country is based on a certain set of ideals and principles that are definitely European and Christian in nature. But that doesn't mean that that's the only people that should be allowed there, but it does need to be the bedrock of your country. No, that doesn't mean that you have to be forced. There are people, and this is like the JDA mentality, people that I've disassociated with, that believe everybody needs to be Catholic, you need to go to church every, Sunday, and if you don't, then, you need to be burned at the stake. I mean, there are people that get that crazy into it, We are a melting pot, is why genetics tend to ignore us. We're way too mixed. I'm not that mixed. God and the Christian part added in the 1970s to the Constitution? No, I don't think so. But also, the thing is, the word separation of church and state doesn't exist in the Constitution either. It says that the government cannot create a state-established religion. It never says that the government has to be 100% separate from religion. But again, this is not I'm not trying to get into a political science debate here. If I tried to get into a conversation about this, I would be way in over my head. I'm just speaking in generalities from things that I've read and learned. But again, I'm not trying to state everything as fact, obviously. Need to go back to old terms. If a foreigner goes to another country and gets in as a citizen legally, immigrant, if not a citizen, try to keep rewards resources falsely, illegal alien. Yes, see, that's the thing is I grew up calling them illegal aliens, not illegal immigrants. They tried to soften the blow of what was going on by calling them illegal migrants or illegal immigrants, and then it turned just into migrants. They dropped the word illegal. It's actually constitutional law, Lockean and more. Right, but the phrase itself, separation of church and state, as I recall, people like to quote it as if it's actually in there. It's like when people attribute that quote to Tolkien, where they say, evil cannot create, it can only destroy that which, good has made or whatever. Not actually a quote by Tolkien. It's a paraphrased it's paraphrasing of like a part of a Tolkien novel or something, but it's not actually in a Tolkien. It's not actually a quote from Tolkien as I understand it. So, anyways, finally got to mention Highguard, but my internet gave out. Oh my god. A couple months ago, Asmund talked about how it was added. Yeah, I don't know. That's not something that I know about. I'm not going to pretend to be a constitutional scholar, guys. Like this is why I don't dabble into too much. Like people are like, oh, the debate me bro stuff. No, I never want to debate. I'd rather have a conversation where we fill in the gaps together. More people should say their mind in plain English instead of delegating their tasks to people who know the proper words because they went to a college usurped by the opposition. Yeah. I'm not completely up on this, but were other countries that took on a lot of immigration a few years back now worried about keeping their country's heritage and track? Okay, so Cragfire, what I will say is I noticed that at at Davos, the WEF, somebody was saying, Peter, it wasn't Peter Thiel, who was it that was saying it, that basically the countries that did better accepted less migrants. It's like, you think? Really? Did I see the Fable video you put in Discord? When did you put it in Discord? Is it one that you did a while ago, or was it just recently? Because I haven't been on Discord for a few minutes. They stopped me in the middle of a boss fight to call me a fat fuck. What was this? Oh, Fleekazoid. I have not checked out Fleekazoid yet. I need to. Yeah, I'm way behind on chat in Discord. I haven't seen anything since about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Damn. I'll have to check that out later. A few hours ago, it's so good. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, Larry Fink, the BlackRock guy, said that. The Amelia thing I find funny. I like the Amelia thing. I find it weird that there are so many people who are hyper fixated on it. Like, I've made memes. I took the GameStop girl and made her into Amelia. I thought it was funny. But there are people who are straight up like obsessing over her. And I'm like, this is getting to kind of like weird levels. Didn't feel like listening to any of them this year. I kind of tune out. Anyways, Minecraft. Want to change the world IRL? Start in Minecraft. In the free Good Trouble DLC, explore global civil rights movements, meet change makers, and learn how to stand up, speak out, and build a better world. And of course, the replies are locked. Smash GT says you're a cult trying to get at the kids to indoctrinate them with left-wing ideologies to further your own political propaganda. Why didn't you add George Floyd to the DLC? Oh, God. This is why you're losing to Hightail, yes. Ooh, they got ratioed this year. Okay, oh no, they got 25,000 likes. This one here, though, get this political propaganda out of Minecraft. Are you kidding? This is a game geared towards kids. Keep the propaganda out of it. And people would be like, what's the problem? This is just civil rights movement stuff. This is a good thing. It's positive, you know? But the problem is, I think Smash pointed it out here. He says, Minecraft publishes anarchy/riot simulation disguised as make good trouble in order to get at the kids and indoctrinate them with left-wing ideologies to further political propaganda via video games. It's not video games, it's indoctrination, and needs to stop. So people make the argument that this is okay because it's like, you know, it's probably got like Harriet Tubman and shit in there as well. It's like, it doesn't stop there. Then it turns into, well, you guys have seen all the anti-ICE propaganda that's popping up in schools where they get kids as young as like 5 years old and they throw them out on the sidewalk with an anti-ICE sign. It's crazy. So yeah, make good trouble. Interesting. Severus Chud says, creates one of the greatest IPs of all time, sees gaming become too corporate, exits as a billionaire, gets slandered by the media and Microsoft, the game gets worse and worse to the point of George Floyd marches. The world owes Notch an apology. I think so. This is Microsoft, they're filled with these clowns? Yeah, for real. Just because it's good doesn't mean it should be in the game in the first place. It's entertainment. Yeah, no, I go to the circus for the clowns, not to get lectured, actually. Yep. Halo got roasted too. Yo, Halo got destroyed, man. They locked the replies so fast. I don't want to build an Epstein Island. Oh my God, why is that stuck? What the hell, man? Well, yeah, but it's not education, it's indoctrination. That's the thing. That is the biggest problem, is it's not about education. It is entirely about indoctrination. And you could be like, well, it's okay to teach kids about, you know, good people that did good things. Okay, but where does it stop? Like, at what point are you going to teach about Trump? Well, no, Trump is the mean old evil orange man. He's the Nazi, right? Foundation of American was American dreams, where many people moved to America to work hard, you know, make to the country and live better lives. Yeah, but Mahendra, the one thing missing from that is that Americans should feel safe living in their own society, and the safest societies are homogenous societies. And I don't mean homogenous as in white in this context. I mean American. I mean people who truly believe that their neighbor has the best interest of the people around them, you know, at heart, and not just themselves. And unfortunately, mass migration leads to a non-homogenous society. You don't have shared values, you don't have shared culture, and that's the problem. That's why the American dream can't be for everybody, because not everyone respects it and feels the same way about it. That's the issue. Teachers need to have stricter regulations. Oh, dude, we just need to get rid of all teachers. How about this? We defund the Department of Education, we get rid of public schools, and we replace it with something else. Or we try to figure out a way to drive costs down so that people can actually afford to have, you know, the stay-at-home mom, and we get back to, you know, moms teaching their kids. Yeah, get rid of the school board. Hey, Korean cowboy. I like when they added the Democrat maps into Fortnite for the Kamala. Dude, that was so cringe. That was terrible. Honestly, every class should have a publicly accessible video and audio recording. Well, luckily at this point, the students that have had a problem with it have wisened up to where they're actually recording their teachers. But unfortunately, that's, yeah. Being tribalist in the archaeologist sense, not the modern common sense of the term tribalist. Love the neighbor sort of tribalism. Yeah, it's the thing. It's like one of those contentious issues is, you know, you have to be able to accept that not all people share the same values. And you need to be around people who share your values. And I think that that's a normal, rational thing to want. I think most people want to be around people who actually care about society and the people around them and their neighborhood and, you know, their city and everything else. I know exactly how we can reduce costs. I just don't have the money to create the platform. Yeah, that's, well, here's the thing about the Department of Education. There is a lot of bloat and a lot of wasted money, and I cannot believe the amount of shit that they spend money on that is completely brain dead worthless. So a lot of teachers, especially in my state, like first year teachers, in the greater counties will get like, you know, $100,000 ish, give or take a $10,000 difference their first year starting out. And a lot of them have basic education, maybe like they'll have a teaching certificate and that's about it. If you want to homeschool your kids, they're trying to pass laws where you have to have a freaking master's degree to teach your kids. Okay? Like, not even kidding. They want you to have a freaking master's degree to teach your kids, but you can send your kids off to some 23-year-old nose-ringed, blue-haired, furry freak who just wants to, you know, teach them about pronouns and shit. I also point out Italian Mafia also migrated from Italy, but they were very organized gang syndicates in the 1930s. Yeah, no, the Italian Mafia is a great example of, I would say, people that didn't quite assimilate into the American society. But again, even though I have Italian roots, I haven't studied the Italian Mafia that deeply. Frankly, I don't want to know where my where my ancestry starts, because I know for sure I've got some connection there, you know? Miss shitting on video games. I get it. I'm so black-pilled on the government and politics. Dude, Matt Adam, I am 100% black-pilled on politics right now. I don't like any of them. There's like none of them that I like. It sucks. I just want them to get the things done that they're supposed to do. That's it. In California, the homeschooling program gets you a diploma and it's very good, yet public education is worthless. But yeah, Wise Ass Duck, they're trying to make homeschooling your kids as damn near close to impossible as you can get. Okay? Homeschool program originated from a school and system in Florida. That doesn't surprise me. You don't even need a degree to teach this stuff. You just need to understand the material and have teachers don't understand. Dude, look at the graduation rates. Look at the actual literacy rates. Look at the average grade of most. My children by far are not getting a top-notch education because my wife and I are neither one educators. But you know what? We have all the curriculums in front of us. My wife, she figures out how to explain things to the kids. Even if they have problems, we kind of go through it together and figure it out. And, homeschooling obviously has flexibility where if somebody's having a bad day, you just don't do anything that day. It sucks. But at the same time, your kid's not being babysat in daycare hell for 8 hours a day while they teach your children, God only knows what. Is that why I changed my profile pic? No, Equilibrium. I changed my profile picture because of all the lesbian night game crap. My sons are in Cali. They're dumb as fuck. Damn. Most schooling is students using AI. The teachers using AI to detect student AI, and then new AIs are being made. But I agree, homeschooling's the way. Homeschooling's the way for most people, man. Kind of like Jada, but like a doomer. Yeah. Yeah, no, Mahendra, I honestly, what's black pilled? Black pilled is like where you feel like everything's hopeless. You got, red pilled is where you are, aware of everything. What they used to call woke back in the day when you were finally like your mind was awoke to what was going on around you. That's red pilled nowadays. Woke is just DEI bullshit now. But blue pilled is when you're not confident about things. I think it's when you're sad about things. Black pilled is when everything is hopeless. White pilled is when everything is great. I think blue pilled is the opposite of red pilled, right? No, blue pilled is staying dumb and ignorant. Red pilled is being aware of what's going on. Black pilled is being in despair. White pilled is when you're happy. That's what it is. Yeah, doomer. My younger bro insists we did homeschooling and they're 4.0 GPA students going into BA studies. I mean, Wise Ass Duck, I had a weird education growing up. I went in and out of public school, private school, and homeschool, and I had years where I didn't have hardly any education. And then I went to a running start program where I was in college at 16 years old, and I would have graduated with like a 3.7 if I'd have finished my last quarter if my parents hadn't gotten divorced before my 18th birthday. And I was a product of multiple school systems, but what always came back to was my parents expected me to get an A. Even though my education system, the regiment was all jacked up year after year, the expectation was you're going to get a good grade whether you want it, like it or not. Red pill is like when the ostrich puts head into the sand and pretends there's no danger, and that'd be more like blue pill. The red pill is when you are aware of the danger. Black pill is apathetic. You've essentially given up on whatever you once enjoyed. DP. I was gonna make a joke that half the time you talk about yourself, you sound like you're black-pilled based on that description. You know, the Equilibrium, I just keep changing my profile picture because I know that it pisses off people who hate AI usage, and every time I do it, I'm using ChatGPT or Grok or whatever. For February, I'm actually going to make my little profile picture on Twitter like a little fat cherub, but I was thinking of making him black also because Black History Month and Valentine's Day. So I don't know if I should do that or not. I should see if I get the like the black pass from Kata or Atreus. I gotta ask him. See, Mahendra, it wasn't quite as bad as having Asian parents, but my parents always expected like you know, at least B plus, A minus, you know. Bounced around schools because my mom worked all over the place. Then in high school, I had to drop out, went to adult education, but I was also in college before I dropped out. Yeah, Wise Ass Duck, I didn't graduate high school. I had to get my GED, but I was doing enough college classes that if I'd have graduated that final quarter, if I'd have gone back and gotten everything done that I needed to, I would have gotten my diploma, my high school diploma, and my associate's degree, so the first 2 years of college, at 17 years old. Turns out I never needed either one of them. So you need hope, minimal, be red pill. I'm black pilled on politics. I'm red pilled on society. I think society is fixable, but I think our political system is cooked. I don't think there's anything that we can fix when it comes to our political system, unfortunately. Black pilled on the fact that I have to take a little blue pill. But to make a kickstand so I don't roll out of bed when I sleep. Good God. Only use of AI that annoys me is relying solely on AI for information. Yeah, oh no, Oblivion. AI half the time is completely inaccurate. You have to kind of like double and triple check what AI is telling you, because half the time AI is straight up retarded. Like it'll tell you the wackiest, most untrue stuff. All right. So for anybody who hasn't been paying attention, I swear to God, I didn't know what Ashes of Creation was like in depth until a couple days ago. Like I said in my video, I briefly heard about it, but honestly had no clue about it. But there's this report that Ashes of Creation, the developers Intrepid Studios, are shutting down just weeks after the MMO's early access launch on Steam in December. So because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of details I don't know anything about, I was going to pull up Josh Strife Hayes' video covering this. Because there's a lot of information about Steven Sharif and the board and all this other stuff, and I'm wondering, I haven't watched it yet. He put it out 9 hours ago. I'm hoping that there's some information in here that actually explains in detail, better informs us about what's going on, because there's a lot of this shit I don't know about. Google AI uses Reddit as a source. Oh my God. Yeah, AI has the intelligence of a toddler. Exactly. AI is heavily dependent on databases than own intelligence. That's why I call machine made than AI. Yeah, so the problem with AI is it's still learning, and it's learning from people, and people are incorrect a lot of the time. So the issue always comes down to, is the AI relying on wrong information? Has it actually compared information to get to the bottom of the truth? It's always unreliable. Died before Scam Citizen. I know, right? All right, so here is this video from Josh Strife Hayes. It's 21 minutes, depending on his cadence, how he, talks. I've never watched a video of his. I could always speed it up to get through it a little bit faster. We will see.
MMORPG, which raised millions of dollars through a combination of private investment, Kickstarter support, paid for early access, and extremely expensive in-game shop items and bundles, promised players a complex, deep, and reactive world, and has shut down roughly 1 month.
I love Big Fry. Big Fry's video was ruthless, but he was actually watching this on the live stream today, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I think that there's something in here worth watching.
After releasing into early access on Steam. And this news has shocked absolutely no one who has seen this story play out again and again and again. Game project overpromises and raises money through hopes and dreams, people are skeptical and get called haters, then the project dies, and yet it will continue to play out again many more times in our lifetimes, because the MMORPG player base are desperate, trusting, and easily convinced a bright new future lays just beyond the horizon, and the next project will be the one, guys, for real, trust me, bro. But what?
His video is a general assessment of the MMO genre, not solely focused on Ashes of Creation. Oh, interesting. Okay. Artificial does mean fake after all. Big Fry's a huge hypocrite? Okay, do tell. I have no dog in the fight. I think he's fine as far as like a YouTuber goes. I picked up his game and played it. It seems decent. I haven't finished it yet. They put out a bunch of big patches to fix some stuff. If it's not fully focused on, fully focused, wow, solely focused, dyslexia kicking in there, on Ashes of Creation, we might try to skip through it then, because I don't want to focus on too much of the MMO stuff. I really wanted to get to the bottom of what's going on with Ashes of Creation. So maybe we will put this one on the back burner and then go and find a different one. I don't know if there's a better summary or not. You guys, who is the Kira one that you're talking about? Keep bringing up Michael Vick. Dude, DB, I don't think most, well, that's not true. Most people in this chat are probably my age or older. You say Michael Vick to my kid, he's gonna be like, who's that? I'm gonna be like, oh my God. My kids know like every current athlete's name, but they don't know who Michael Vick is. I was talking about Brian Urlacher the other day, and they're like, who's Brian Urlacher? I'm like, he was like the most amazing linebacker for the Chicago Bears back in the day. Saying get a dog in the fight. Yeah. Yeah, shocking. I know, shocking. But who's Kira? I think Mad Adam mentioned. He spends years hosting on bad asset flip games and then started simping for one. She really flipped my desire to watch him ever again. Then his own game, he hyped up like the next best game ever. Which game was the asset flip one that he was hyping up? I'm really confused. Was it this one? Was he all in on this one? I don't know. I don't have much knowledge of Big Fry past the last year or so. Hey, Tekla, how are you doing, buddy? Current AIs are more A than I. Yeah, got to phrase your queries properly. Exactly. Some FPS shooter. Oh, okay, I could see that happening. He covers NFTs, crypto scams, and MMOs. Let me try to find Kira TV's video instead then. This seems like there's a lot here. Like it'd be a good one to watch a different time. But I'm really focused in because I've been digging through it today, trying to figure out. People have been saying that the board of directors, that the actual board of directors for Ashes of Creation over at Intrepid, there was a different board, but I don't understand because everything I'm trying to find doesn't show any information about there being a different board or not. Let me see. Let me just pull up Ashes of Creation and see if there's anything new about this right now. Had a really bad history and he started simping it like he was paid to advertise it. Maybe he was. Might have been. Yeah, it's good to see you too, Tekla. Oh no, Mad Adam. Yeah, I am very guilty of not putting timestamps on anything. I am awful about it. The funniest thing, I noticed somebody down in Big Fry's live stream today in the replies saying that he was going to get sued and this and that, and it's the same guy who commented on my video like, careful what you say, and I'm like, what did I say? I'm repeating things that we can read on the internet. Like, I'm not making any claims. I'm saying it looks like a scam and it looks like somebody made off with the money. Like, if they're more worried about suing me over that, some random YouTuber over saying it looks like a scam than actually paying their developers, I don't think that would have any, like, legs to stand on in court. Just saying. Yeah, the board's allegedly Steven's husband. He was the COO. Exactly. It's linked in the pinned comment under Josh's video, if you recall. Like, yeah, that video is also 25 minutes long. What's crazy is that Pirate Software has a video talking about Ashes of Creation is dead, but this man was also, I think, glazing this game back in the day. In fact, oh, check this, guys. Here we go. Instead of watching a video on this, I actually have something to show you guys that I found while digging around this stuff yesterday. So real quick, for anybody who's not aware of the actual situation, we'll just go through this brief summary real quick. Ashes of Creation was an MMORPG that was kickstarted back in 2017. It raised like $3.3 million, and then of course there were backers who spent anywhere from like $500 to I guess upwards of $1,000 on this game. As I understand, it was supposed to be a continual thing, kind of like a subscription model like World of Warcraft in the future. Once it launched, it was going to be a pay-as-you-go kind of game. It wasn't like a one-time purchase. So people purchasing the rights, essentially, to play this game, playtest it in alpha, it's like you guys are paying right now to be playtesters, and then you're going to have to pay in the future, unless there was some exclusivity where they wouldn't have to pay. I don't know. That being said, people spent a lot of money on this game. It raised $3.3 million. And then people bought alpha keys later on, which raised around, I think I heard was like anywhere around $25 million just from alpha key sales. Then they put the game on Steam in December in early access, sold another 300,000 keys to it, which is around 10 to 17 million, I guess is what the estimate is. So they made a shitload of money on this game, right? A lot of money. Well, the game was up for like 6 weeks, and they were supposed to do a developer live stream on February 13th. They posted that they were going to have some updates on January 29th. And then February 1st, devs didn't get paid. They all got fired. The board is like, oh, the game director, Steven Sharif, who was like one of the 2 guys on the board, is like, oh, the board ousted me. I had to step down. I didn't approve of their unethical behavior. And the entire team is now gone. The game is essentially shut down. And actually, if you go on Steam, the game is also no longer available for purchase. They have straight up yeeted this game off Steam. It's still there. The store page is still there, but you cannot buy it. So despite this fact, there's still people playing it because people who bought the game who can't get a refund are still playing it. And because of the clause in the Kickstarter's contract, once the game was launched on Steam, if they fulfilled that part of the Kickstarter, refunds wouldn't be issued. So then the intent was, if the game goes on Steam and it can't be refunded, but then the game dies, do you still get a refund? Essentially, no. That's kind of the answer there. Hey, Serrano. Yeah, no, Matt Adam, I need to get better about timestamps for real. But yeah, Craig Fire, exactly. A lot of unknown, but that's the long and the short of it from my understanding as I've been, absorbing all the information in the last 24 to 48 hours, right? You see, MMO players are really desperate for a new shiny one to save them all, plus you have a lot of money. Well, no luck so far on any front. Maybe the next one, yeah. Don't say yeet. Come on, man. You got to throw one yeet in there occasionally. Yeah, Susano, up until the last day or two, I didn't know much about it at all. As Asmund said, they developed the thing for 10 years, and in Cali with costs going up to 48 million per year. Right, so Equilibrium, I'm not saying that they were swimming in money. I'm not saying that it was like, oh my God, they had so much money on hand. I'm saying that money had to have gone somewhere, right? And if they were operating in debt, and then the last-ditch effort was to put the game on Steam to get some money and that like an influx of cash, and then they decided to abandon ship anyways, that essentially is a scam. Because you put the game on Steam knowing that if the game failed, you would shut everything down, and then the Kickstarters wouldn't be able to get their money back. I mean, I don't know how you look at that as anything but a scam, right? Hear that Chibi got swatted? No, I didn't know that. Take a yeet over a fleek? Oh my God. Never in my life have I ever intentionally used the term fleek about anything. The contract having no refunds is shady. It's very messed up. Said their current company burn rate was roughly $800,000 a week. Ooh, my God. People searching for an MMO are effectively just people that don't have friends. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, no, that part makes sense. I get that. Like, I understand that aspect to it. You know, the people that are going to be looking to spend their entire life on a game online are going to be the terminally online people who are, at home, working from home, who have no kids, no marriage, and their expenses are probably somewhat reasonably small. But what I don't understand is there are other MMOs out there. Like, are there not better options? I mean, there are other MMOs that exist. They could still play World of Warcraft. I get World of Warcraft is dated and all that, and a lot of people are abandoning it because the game is retarded now. But there are still other options, Just become a Redditor, it's cheaper. Okay, so what I was gonna show you guys, since it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of new information. There was this guy, Jay Oddity, today that posted this on Twitter. Ashes of Creation drama continues. Alleged DMs from Steven Sharif have leaked. Steven insults multiple content creators in private. A guild leader claims they were unbanned after selling gold due to favoritism from Steven. Details emerging about Steven being pushed out of his own company. A messy situation that seems to be escalating fast. I don't know. Unless there was a breakup, like a lover's quarrel between these two, if the guy who's the COO and Steven were the only two on the board and there was a issue with the board where Steven was forced out, that sounds like these guys split up and he kicked him out. I don't know. This is crazy. I love MMOs. People are just looking for something new. Craigfire, dude, I played Guild Wars for 2,000 hours a year. I get it, okay? I 100% get it. But I was also single at the time. So I worked, I'd go to the gym, and then I'd be up all night playing that game and repeat the cycle 6 days a week, you know? We knew you didn't know anything about it. It's too big fail not to cover it. I was shocked when you even posted a video about it because you know fake gamer and all that. Yeah. Yeah, massively. Dude, I'm a fake gamer and I'm a fake Star Wars fan. Okay? I've been getting shit on all day long by the prequel lovers who think that the prequels are amazing, epic, wonderful films, and you know that the OG is just dog shit, right? And they're like, oh, these pseudo fake, you know, tourist fans. I'm like, bitch, I have totes in my garage from my childhood full of Star Wars toys, Star Wars games, original Star Wars figures. I even have original Phantom Menace Episode 1 toys in boxes, unopened, in my garage that we bought before the movie came out, not knowing how bad Phantom Menace was going to be, okay? Like, my childhood was reading Star Wars books, playing with Star Wars toys, playing Star Wars video games, rewatching the original trilogies on repeat nonstop. That's all we had as children, okay? We were very poor, but we had Star Wars. But yeah, you know, getting called a pseudo fan, I'm like, all right, bitch, whatever. So it's a gay drama now, pretty much. Put a fair bit of time into MMOs, but it's rare that I run with groups unless I need to run some sort of group resist. I mean, here's the thing, dude. I played Guild Wars in guilds briefly. I preferred to play by myself. I got to the point in the game where unless I was needing to farm with a large group of people, I preferred not to have to get into the guild bullshit because it was just drama. It was so much drama. Everybody wanted to play with the girl, and you know there was all this jealousy and resentment, and then you know the guild leader was an asshole, and it just crazy stuff. Oh man, dog in the 90s chewed up your original 80s Star Wars figures. That sucks, man. 76 days and 76, but recently haven't been playing. That's a lot of days, man. That's crazy. Star Wars Game Master, I'm the wary nerd. The thing was, I'm like, you can say my opinion sucks. I'm okay with that. You can say the prequels are amazing. You're retarded. I disagree, but I'm okay with that. But don't tell me I'm a fake Star Wars fan. Like, that was my entire childhood. Me and my brothers, like everything Star Wars, nonstop. So this is a post on Discord from Steven back on September 11th. Says, I hate gross humans. I don't know what that's in context to. One that surprises me the most, though, to be honest, is Jamie. Thought we had a good friendship, but then he went so sour so fast. It was weird. I mean, it isn't like they have large followings. Between the Doomers, Richie, Jamie, and the jackass, Jalen, but it's just interesting to see people change wild. He's probably talking about YouTubers, to be honest. Then there's a conversation between these two guys, DA and Riv. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. DA says they had too much money moving and devs don't have any idea who's RMTing and who isn't. Rive says what all guilds did, they provide favoritism too. I DM'd Steven about shit. I tried to get people into PTR when they were letting other guilds in, got ignored 99% of the time. DA says just me, Steven owed me big time. He had me apply to other game studios and use them as a reference so I could leak NDA shit to them. I was on the payroll for years. So apparently this guy DA is claiming that as a developer, this Steven, the Sharif, the game director for Ashes of Creation, actually had him go and poach information from other companies. Crazy. Lived through Star Wars Galaxies. Oh, yeah. MMOs dominated when they actually connected people that wouldn't know each other. Nowadays, everyone just scrolls social media. Yeah, you know, the entire, online experience, multiplayer experience, things are so drastically different than what they were when I was a kid. It's like, even though multiplayer games are online, 99.99% of them are primarily only online, and very few people do like the couch co-op stuff. I just feel like even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there was more of an interaction between people online. Now it's like, yeah, you get games like Arc Raiders where you'll have those interactions. Arc Raiders is probably one of the most social online games that I've played in a long time. Other than that, a lot of people just kind of fuck off and do their own thing, so... Poaching, that's normal in the games industry. I mean, to be fair, you're not wrong. It happens in most every industry. Ran a guild in the MMO Neverwinter. Quit playing the game back in 2020. Neverwinter's another game that I looked at, man. It's another game that I looked at. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. So different, exactly. Economic espionage, among other things, though it's largely legal, not legal advice. I know Susano. Gay espionage, yeah. MMOs died when Blizzard implemented the RDF and made it the standard instead of players having to talk to each other and make groups with an automated matchmaking tool. Hey, Vernum, back when I was playing Guild Wars, there was no, other than texting, like actual text chat, there was no voice chat of any kind built into the game. Obviously, like World of Warcraft back in the day, I'm sure had the same thing, where you had to use Ventrilo, which was just a third-party program, and run that while you were running Guild Wars or whatever. A few of us used like Windows Messenger back in the day to actually communicate during like, you know, doing activities and stuff. But then it was that or Ventrilo. That was about it. Old internets with forums, MMOs, and private servers for Counter-Strike and other shooters. Those were better than anything Facebook, Reddit, and Twitter have given us. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ventrilo was the days, man. I think Ventrilo was before TeamSpeak. How are you doing, Smeg? How are things down under today? I bought Neverwinter. Best friend at the time wanted to borrow my discs to try it. I got those discs back 2 years later. Oh my god. Miss Mixer. Oh man, Mixer. That was a shot in the. I mean, that was like what it lasted like all of 5 seconds. You're talking about Windows Mixer, Microsoft Mixer, right? The streaming app. That was like a rival to Twitch and whatnot. I had just signed up for Mixer right before it shut down. That was when I was first starting to stream, I think. I think Mixer shut down in like, what, 2020 or something? IRC was used back in early 2000. Used a VoIP called Roger Wilco. I wonder how many gamers know that one. Sounds familiar, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I've still got all my Guild Wars discs back there. In my computer stuff, I've got all my Guild Wars discs. And one of my sets, I couldn't find my game key on because it was scratched off or something. So I actually had to contact Guild Wars to get the key. Then once I put it in, I found out I hadn't played the game in so long that they had locked my account for spam or illegal activity. I'm like, guys, I haven't touched this game in like 10 years. How could it be illegal activity? I used to play Ultima Online pretty heavily. My normal running crew would play primarily chat through MIRC and Trillion I've heard of. MIRC I have not. That's not one that rings any bells. So I guess just generally shady activity. Nothing out of the ordinary though, I guess. Here you go. Quality comment from the Ashes of Creation subreddit. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Ashes is only for perma-virgin losers who enjoy griefing casuals for gain. It will be completely unfun for most people. Unless you're able to commit 60 hours a week to Ashes, you may as well not play. And the players like it this way, apparently. The community in Ashes is probably the worst community I've ever seen in an online game. I have fair PvP fights. I get called slurs. I'm being griefed by a group of 8 players. I fight back. They call me slurs. I talk in global chat. More slurs. Maybe I should have played this game. I don't know. I wake up in the morning, look outside just to see Polar outside my house, shouting slurs at my window. My mom hands me a letter. It's from Steven. He calls me slurs and tells me to kill my... Oh my god. I go to a therapist. I mention Ashes. My therapist is the guild leader of Polar. He calls me the N-word. I'm white and confused. He pulls up my IP address and tells me I'm being reported and calls me some more slurs. Okay, that's actually kind of funny, not gonna lie. Trillion was an app that compiled Yahoo Instant Messenger, AOL Instant Messenger, and Microsoft into one app. Yeah, I remember that. I never had that, but I remember the name. Crazy shit, man. All right, so real quick before we address the creep with the mustache, I do want to show you guys, I did find a live stream. Not that too much of it's pertinent, but it was really funny to see. You could definitely tell that there was issues going on.
Settlements.
Behind the scenes. And so I found a live stream from the developers, from Steven Sharif and all these people at Intrepid on Twitch. It was their final live stream, final Q&A before they actually shut everything down. And it was really interesting to see because if you just watch the interactions, it's pretty obvious that these guys are definitely... You could tell that there was some shit going on behind the scenes. This is just one little 3-minute segment that I clipped out. I can't remember if this one is the one that's actually as important or not. But you could tell that shit was definitely hitting the fan. I think this is like the second to last or last question that somebody asked.
Not until we are much closer to beta.
Yeah, somebody asked about if they're going to be adding other races.
That's something, that's something that's going to come later. It's not going to be likely in the first half of next year.
And our final one is from Provoke Chaos. which is an interesting name. Has the Steam Alpha actually helped? Are you guys getting more feedback than you did previously?
Can't hear.
And better feedback?
Oh, I think
Is it too quiet, or is it not, the sound not working at all? Because I can hear it on mine, but I don't know if it's something where you guys can't hear it or not. Okay, you can't hear him, but she's super loud. Yeah, I don't know why his microphone's so quiet. You hear her? Okay. Yeah, she must have been the host, because her microphone, all these other guys that talked, it was way louder on her. And let me see if I can just turn the general volume up and see if that'll help.
I think the proof is in the pudding, and I think we all can see it. I think that everybody who's been a part of this community, who's been in Discord or on Reddit or in the forums, they can see the infusion of fresh faces, of fresh pain, of fresh, people coming to join this product and be excited about, what the future holds.
Director of Communications, yeah.
And the systems that we're trying to create and the loops that we're trying to emphasize. I can tell you that I am a avid connoisseur of our community. I digest everything all the time, as most of us do on this team. And the difference is night and day between what we have seen, ahead of that Steam launch and what we're seeing after. Just interacting with people on Twitch. I was watching Aerolee and Showback play. Was watching SVan and Pirate and some smaller creators that came in and they're having a great time. And I think I think that they understand the vision, that they see the vision, and a lot of the conjecture out there in the MMORPG subreddit or in the MMORPG community isn't always fond, of us due to the time that it's taking to create this game and the style that we're doing it in. But those of the people who come and they spend a little bit of time understanding what we're trying to create, I think get excited pretty easily. And that I think speaks to the appeal of the product that we're creating. And obviously the passion that goes behind creating it. So, it's been revitalizing for us as a team as well to jump in and play with an audience that's fresh. Not because we don't want to play with our audience that has been with us for the last year, but because it reminds us of some of the perspectives that perhaps we lost touch with over a year of being so close to, what we're making and pushing every day. You forget sometimes about a person who knows nothing and who hasn't scoured every morsel that the wiki has to offer about this game and the systems that we're trying to create, right? That gives a very unique inside of the box perspective. And now we get people who, off the side of the Steam road jumps in, is like, "Ooh, cool, what is this?" I'm like, "Oh shit, this feels old school. I have XP debt? That's crazy. I haven't experienced that since 2003. It's like, okay, cool. Let's talk about that.
This makes me wonder, who were they really trying to market the game to? Because they talk about this like on Steam, where, we put the game on Steam and you get a fresh set of faces in here and people who haven't been experiencing yet, and they're seeing all these things and it's like a throwback. It's like, well, in another part of this Q&A stream, they're like, well, we're trying to balance quality with performance because we want the graphics to be better, but obviously the graphics are going to look dated so that we can have better performance, and we're trying to find that sweet spot in between. I mean, this dev stream is like 3 hours long, and there was so much of it to go through. But it just cracks me up that they talk about the love and the passion and this and that. And then this stream was like December 18th or something. They were noping out for 2 weeks. They were going to go take Christmas vacation, and then they had those updates that came out in January. But it's just crazy to me that they look at this whole Steam launch as, we're getting a fresh set of eyes, and it's so cool because now we're going to have all this new feedback and stuff. And then all of a sudden, the next big update to come was, we're just pissing off. You can cut a freaking Mel with that screen butt cheeks tension. Dude, I noticed that the entire stream was like that when they were answering questions. They were repeatedly, the communications director actually, you can look it up on Twitch. I can find you guys the link if you want. The stream itself was, I think, 2 or 3 hours long. And the communications director continually had to keep saying, yes, we're already aware of that. We're trying to patch that. We're working on this, blah, blah, blah. Occasionally, Steven seemed a little irritated because they're like, well, yeah, we've already addressed this. It's something that's going to have to come later on because we have all these lists of bugs we have to fix. And I'm like, you say this game's been in development for 12 years, and I understand MMORPGs, gaming is, development is hard and all that usual stuff you hear. But you're talking about something that's been around in some form or fashion for 12 years. If my shit's not better, like playable, like good quality by 12 years in, it's time to pull the plug. I mean, it's time to be done, Hookers and blows where money would have gone. Oh my God. Warframe streams are exactly the same. I've seen a few of them. I don't pay too much attention to the Warstream streams, to be honest. Is YouTube fine? YouTube seems to be fine, Geek. Were you having problems on YouTube? Oh, it was your problem this time. Okay, got it. Well, hey, I didn't actually reset my router today. I'm actually kind of happy things are still working, knock on wood. They're in California, so it all goes to Newscom. Yeah, the problem, Equilibrium, is that a lot of game development studios are either in Washington or California. And it's like two of the worst places to own a business when in terms of like, fees and taxes and regulations and everything else. Swear I've been casually following development of this game for like 7 years and I haven't looked at it in a couple of years and I see this stream. Yeah, dude, Hunter, man, it is crazy, okay? I personally wasn't paying attention to any of it, and then the last couple of days, it's been very, very illuminating, very eye-opening. 12 years is too long. The entire framework and network protocols can change in less time. Yeah. Now it's buffering. I'm going to blame DB Wild. His fault. My shit's not good. It's probably because I haven't pulled the plug. Tends to put a stop to good flow. You in the bathroom humor, man. You get email updates on it? I had not heard of it like nearly that long ago. Ashes of Creation, I've followed since it first dropped and never saw the point of ever getting into it. Well, Wise Ass Duck, you were the smart one because getting into it at the cost that people were, the amount of money people were spending on it is absolutely insane. I'm going to skip over. We're going to skip over the Scotty fitness stuff just for a minute because I do want to talk about Highguard. And if the stream is going to crap out at some point, I'd rather it craps out while we're talking about a retarded, useless influencer than while we're talking about Highguard, because Highguard's more interesting, to be honest.
It is like this tangible thing that you can point
to.
Oh,
no worries, Susanna.
Hey, man, I love
you don't always have to have something to say about everything. I do appreciate just even hanging out.
This might sound sexist, but take it for what it is.
I'm sexist.
It's the feminization of society that has led to everyone being so soft. I grew up being called slurs. It didn't make me mad. I was in a time where stoicism was the norm.
Stoicism should be the norm, man. And dude, thank you for the 20 Australian dollars, dude. You're not wrong, man. And, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, back in my day, we had things so hard. We had to go uphill both ways with no shoes on and 3 feet of snow to get to school and all that crap, right? Those kind of things, those fall on deaf ears. In my tweet today about the whole Star Wars thing, I'm like, look, guys, I'm almost 40. This revisionist history bullshit about how everybody loved the prequels. They just want you to think they sucked. It's like, no, I grew up in that time. Everybody hated them. So I can understand people hearing an age or hearing something that you attribute to like a generation of people like the boomers and stuff and going, well, you think everything was hard back then, but you haven't. No. For real. At least when I was growing up, you were taught that words can't hurt you. It's like sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you, right? That's what we're supposed to be teaching children. Somebody says a mean word to you, you shake it off. You just smile and nod. Back when I was a kid, you say, I'm rubber, you're glue. Anything you say bounces off me and sticks on you, right? All that kind of shit. So, well, and Susano, you're allowed to like them. I just remember growing up as a kid, me and all of the people in my friends group all hated them. Everybody hated the prequels that I was around. Now, again, that doesn't mean people didn't like them, but if you go and look at like just Rotten Tomato scores for the original trilogy versus like Phantom Menace, it's pretty jarring, the difference, Whips and chains excite me. That's always the right one, dude. I will never apologize. For having a thing for Rihanna back in the day. My wife understands. She gets it. Yep, I remember this isn't Star Wars. I mean, I thought that was pretty common, Also, group of people who think one good scene makes the whole movie good. They can't comprehend that a movie can be shit but also have a good fight scene. I had somebody today try to compare the OG trilogy with the prequels, not the sequels. I've never seen the sequels beyond the first one. I have no interest. And somebody was like, oh, well, you know, you could say that the originals have bad, cheesy stuff and corny script. I'm like, yeah, you could. You could actually make the argument that the original movies had a lot of corny, cheesy stuff, but it was also a very low-budget film from the 70s. The prequels had, I think, $80 million was spent on Phantom Menace alone. Okay. They should be better than they were. You know? Yeah, and see, Hunter, you're younger, so for you, Star Wars, you grew up with all of them. So you're going to have like more of a sentimentality for it. I can understand that. I get it. But it doesn't, like, I can look at movies I grew up with, and if I go back and watch them now, I can go, wow, that movie is shit, right? That movie's really awful. Okay, prime example. Those films have been recut again and again. Which one, the prequels or the originals? What about then Beyonce and Jay-Z? No, Rihanna is as far as I'll go. I want nothing to do with Beyonce and Jay-Z and all that. 44 on the 24th, the prequel sucked. Hell yeah, Cage. Oh my god. Hey, Mr. Hardcore Mode, didn't see you in here. My VHS copies don't match my DVDs. Yeah, that is true. I did notice those things because my parents, we had the original movies on VHS. We taped them off of TV broadcast. Then we bought them on VHS. Then we bought the collector's edition VHS with the special, you know, edition or whatever. Then we had the DVDs. Like, we owned like 6 copies of Star Wars. It was crazy. And then we noticed that things didn't jive up at times. Yeah. That they were meant to complement the originals standalone. However, those would not kickstart the IP. No, they would not have earned them. But they were also made in a different time. They were piggybacking off of Star Wars. Star Wars was at its biggest point when the prequels came out, because that was like at the peak of the Extended Universe books. And the Extended Universe books were a thing unto themselves. Star Wars culturally was huge when the prequels came out. And then they came out and it's like, oh. And Hunter, I can appreciate that. I can honestly understand that. I can understand that argument. What I can't understand is people looking at them and saying that they're objectively good movies. I'm like, no, they are objectively awful movies, right? Like really bad movies. Heard murmurs. Wait, where did that go? Murmurs from a Goonies remake. I would literally cry, and I'm man enough to admit that. I don't remember much of the Goonies, so I don't really have as much sentimentality for that one. Jay-Z, I don't think... I've seen a lot of fake news about Jay-Z, Tekla. Don't believe everything you hear right now about the Epstein stuff unless you actually can verify it for yourself. We were talking about this at the beginning of the stream. I would love for half the things that they've claimed... Not that I want the things to be true, but I would love for them to have proof of the things that are claimed on social media right now about the Epstein stuff so that we could, like, nuke half the population on this planet, because anybody that went anywhere near that island should be just... Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot in the Epstein stuff that's just allegations, rumor, a lot of people running with fake stories on social media. You should see the community notes tab right now. Community notes is full of proposed notes on the Epstein stuff. QC Jerks, welcome in, buddy. Somehow Palpatine returned. Palpatine, yeah. Well, Korean Cowboy, this is not a defense of the sequels thing either. I watched one sequel film and I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to watch the rest of them. Most of what's in the files is just allegations. Exactly.
Are the best way to show something.
Then again, I was 10 to 11 back when the prequels got released. We had a sticker collecting whatever as well, trading shit in schools that elevated significance. Yeah, I could see that.
Star Wars is overrated, Imho. Fight me physically.
All right, so Smeg, thanks for the 2. And for that comment, you have to suffer. I'm going to make you suffer through this clip right here.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically, bitch.
You get that one just for you. Oh, pod racing was pretty fun. That part of the movie I didn't hate. I loved the freaking pod racer video game. Now we're all suffering. Well, you can blame Smeg for that one, man. The Republic Commando game and the pod racer game on my GameCube are phenomenal games. Absolutely phenomenal. Love those games. Smeg can't... Has that on click. Think about that. I've got that one, and I've got a whole bunch of other ones too. But yeah, I've also got that DSP clip fired up anytime I need it. Oh, see, the funny thing, Hunter, is Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the original trilogy, and that is the one that thematically and as a film, people pick apart the most. People hate Return of the Jedi because they had the Ewoks instead of the Wookiees and all this other stuff. And I get it. I understand why people have problems with Return of the Jedi, you know, in its entirety, but it's my favorite of the 3 Star Wars movies. Never got into it even as a child. Were you into Star Trek? Yeah, the midi-chlorian thing, dude. The midi-chlorian thing pissed off a lot of people because nobody had ever, up to that point, written about the Force being genetically connected to people based on some sort of like scientific mumbo-jumbo. Hey, Empress, good morning. It had the best space battle, and the Emperor was tops. Was my favorite as a kid. Dude, I loved the Emperor. The final fight between Darth Vader and Luke. You know, and of course, as a kid, I love the Ewoks. Now I'm just like, whatever. Love to observe Mercante in the wild and narrate it like David Attenborough. Oh my God. Yo, President Trump, honestly, Return of the Jedi, of the 3 Star Wars films, it is it has like a 94% from the fans on Rotten Tomatoes, where the other 2 are like 96 and 97. And I hear more complaints about Return of the Jedi than the other 2 films because of the Ewoks primarily. Star Trek fanboy in the 90s? I could see that. I liked Next Generation. I didn't grow up watching like the William Shatner Star Trek, and I was not a big Trekkie, but I did have a soft spot for Next Generation and Patrick Stewart. You couldn't not watch Patrick Stewart, man. Still adore Star Wars, but the OG 6, only one of them is actually a decent made movie. Let me guess, Zav, you're going to say that that Revenge of the Sith is the only one that's a decently made movie. Oh, QC, I mean, I 100% agree. As soon as the midi-chlorians were mentioned, I checked out. Force was meant to be mystical, not scientific. Yeah. I cringe trying to watch modern Star Trek is something to behold. It really is. It's crazy. Rogue One's unappreciated? Yeah, but to be fair, a lot of people feel that way. So if everyone says Rogue One's unappreciated, then clearly we all appreciate it. Empire, okay, I can respect that. Empire Strikes Back is not my favorite movie, but I can respect that it's technically probably the best one out of the bunch. Robot Chicken short video of Jar Jar coming back as a blue ghost. Oh my God, I think I remember that. Yeah, Serrano, I think that for those of us who grew up watching the films, Return of the Jedi was probably the most enjoyable, especially for those of us who watched it as kids. Revenge of the Sith, I only have seen one time in its entirety, but I will tell you, it was the one that I had the least problem with of the prequels. I saw Phantom Menace 2 or 3 times in theaters, hoping each time that I watched it would get better, and it only got worse. I'm pretty sure I saw Clone Wars 2 in theater, and then one time afterwards, my cousin, we went to his bachelor party, and we all just hung out and did paintball the next day. But that night, we were playing Spider-Man on his PS2 Spider-Man. I remember playing that with him. I'd never played on a PlayStation before. And then we watched Clone Wars, and we all laughed our asses off the entire movie. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite. Fair enough. Granted, Rogue One doesn't line up with the film it's supposed to be. Yeah, I mean, it is whatever. Dan loves Starfleet Academy. Hell no. Obi-Wan and Anakin fight scene is still unbeaten in Yoda versus Palpatine. Yeah, I mean, Korean Cowboy, I can appreciate them for what they are. I didn't love seeing Yoda and the Emperor fighting with lightsabers. I mean, I always wanted them to be more mystical than that, not just like, well, these very powerful, accomplished, really old Jedi are flipping around using lightsabers. You want it to be more like, I don't want to use the word magical or mystical, but I think that makes more sense, like, in that context. Star Wars was ruined since they never covered the Yuuzhan Vong. You mean covered as in actually made the Yuuzhan Vong, like the primary story? Or I hated the Yuuzhan Vong. The New Jedi Order, I read about half of those books, and that's where I stopped. I read basically everything Extended Universe up until halfway through New Jedi Order, and I was just like, I was done. After they killed Ben, after they killed Chewie, after like everything turned to shit. And the Yuuzhan Vong were just too tough, man. They were too strong. I don't know. Yeah, they were conceptually interesting, but they were awful. Yeah. What is a used Sam Thong? So, okay. The Star Wars books, they started with Timothy Zahn's trilogy, and they ended with Timothy Zahn's 2 books, Visions of the Future, Spectre of the Past, vice versa. I think I mixed them up. But basically, those are like the bookends for the main Star Wars extended universe. Then after the Empire was defeated, the Rebellion won, the New Republic was safe, everything was happy, everybody was good. Luke was with the woman he was supposed to be with. Han and Leia had their kids. Everything was good, right? The first book in the next series, The New Jedi Order, starts off essentially with a invasive alien species that are like zealot religious types coming from outside of the known galaxy. The Force has no effect on them. They're ferocious fighters, and they start off by pulling a moon onto a planet and killing Chewbacca. That is how it starts. That's like the first book in the series, okay? Vong was the real calamity and the whole point of everything the Sith were doing. I think it'll be kind of difficult to make a purely mystical and Force fight scene, considering I haven't read the comics, so I don't know. I didn't read Star Wars comics. I don't know. We'll write Korean Cowboy, but I think there are cool ways you could do that. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so the New Jedi Order with the Yuuzhan Vong, for a lot of people, it was just very bleak, very depressing. I gave up, like, I don't know, maybe a half dozen books in or more. I can't remember how many books I read at that point. Yes, the Vong technology was entirely biological. Their ships were living ships. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I'm having to dig way back to remember all that shit. They're the Wraith from Stargate Atlantis. Their tech is biologically made with a very insect-like hive mind and are mostly immune to the Force. Yeah, that's the thing, is like they get there and Luke has essentially reestablished the Jedi Order and they've got, you know, everything under control, and then all the shit just kind of hits the fan. It's crazy. It is a very Star Trek-y thing. It never really jibed in my mind with the fantastical, non-really sci-fi. I mean, Star Wars is more of a fantasy space opera than it is sci-fi. It was never really heavy into the science fiction. They didn't ever have they didn't try to explain things in like a science fiction way. It was always much more fantasy. All right, so let's talk really quickly about Highguard, because I'm just rambling and I know that we're going to run out of time. So before we get to Highguard, paralleling Highguard with other more successful titles, I did find this, thought it was funny, saw this on Twitter earlier today. A YouTuber, SK, I have no idea who this person is, who she is. Maybe you guys know who this is. Says reaching Cantina Legend in Arc Raiders isn't worth the time. Said the fact is that I temporarily ruined my life to play Arc Raiders Trials, and for what, a skin. The thing I gave up to chase that feeling was not worth it. Somebody asked how that she temporarily ruined her life, and she said she missed out on seeing friends and nearly a trip to Paris to make sure she got the skin. So these are apparently first world problems. But despite that, despite the first world problems of YouTubers, because they have to do challenges on stream where they're getting paid by people to, you know, play video games for a living, Arc Raiders apparently is on its way to making $1 billion. Should have stopped at episode 3, yeah. Yes, 75 million is what the budget is claimed to have been. And they've already made, I think they said $500 million. All right, Oblivion, get some sleep, buddy. Have a good night. Very, very lucky to be unfamiliar with SK. Dude, I am very lucky to be unfamiliar with half the people I see on the internet. Okay? But yeah, so it says, they state that Ubisoft's taking 5 years to develop a game and selling only 5 million units is not sustainable. 3 years is plenty. Then talks about people bringing Rockstar into comparison, which might be 1.5 to 2 billion on GTA 6. But don't understand that they're going to make that $2 billion back in the first week. Yeah, you can't compare games like Arc Raiders and their low budget to a game like GTA 6, because GTA 6 is going to print money, okay, when it comes out. It was developed over 3 years, talking about Arc Raiders, team of 70 developers, which included marketing in the budget with the $75 million figure. They've added that the game has already made 500 million from 12 million plus units sold and will probably make close to $1 billion. Now here's the crazy thing, guys. It's not just how many copies of the game that they've sold. If you go back on talking about player base, right? Healthy player base for a multiplayer game. All right. So if you compare the numbers from Arc Raiders, okay? Currently in game right now, Arc Raiders, which has, you can't see it, 126,664 players, right now. 24-hour peak of almost 300,000 people. This is a $40 buy-in minimum on this game. You have to buy the game to play it. And it still has 126,000, almost 127,000 people playing it, right? Let me see. Male to fail who's constantly being pervy and goonery and would be canceled to high hell if they weren't male to female and somehow keep bouncing the games I'm playing. Oh, so it's not really a woman. Okay. Yeah, R.A. Salvatore used to love his work until I heard him speak. He has Mark Hamill levels of TDS. Okay, so fun story. I got to show something off real quick. Hang on. It's not impressive. Don't worry. But did you guys know that used bookstores are still a thing, apparently? So used bookstores. And I know that we've always had a used bookstore here in my town, but I never realized how amazing they are. I have never read the Witcher books, right? Never read the entire Witcher series at all. And I got the first 3 books in the series here in like mint condition for $22.50. We spent about 45 minutes this weekend at the used bookstore, me and my kids. We walked away with like an armload full of books for like $90 or something. I'm talking like insane deal. And the great thing is apparently they have all the Star Wars books that I grew up reading. My brother, one of my brothers who moved to North Carolina, I'm pretty sure he took all the books with him because they were his. And so I have like maybe 3 Star Wars books left. Oh yeah, no, dude, it's bookstore in Washington State. We have them, dude. We have readers. That place was hopping. That was the craziest thing. We were at a bookstore on a Saturday and that place was packed. And I'm like, dude, gold mine. Deadlock peaked nearly 20,000 higher today with the 3rd new hero drop. Dude, Deadlock is going to be insane. I don't know that I'm going to play it. I'm not really a MOBA guy, but you don't want to see my peen. I said it's not big or whatever I said. Ark is the perfect game for the void of content right now. Streamers who aren't even in love with it or still play it as there's all there is. But yeah, I don't think it's just content creators making look, people get bored with content creators playing the same game over and over again. If the game wasn't appealing to play and it was just people watching it, they'd get burned out on the streamers playing it and the streamers would move on. There's something special about Arc Raiders. When I was playing Highguard to test out the game, I missed playing Arc Raiders. Every match of Highguard I played, I'm like, I just wish I could be playing Arc Raiders instead, you know? It's not that big of a deal, don't worry. Okay, that's what it was. Same difference. Sounds like me during a Steam sale because I'm buying visual novels. Yeah, except Serrano, I have to stop with that. I can't keep buying games on Steam because I don't play them. Imagine only having a finite time on this planet then complaining about wasting on something you wanted to do. SK had a choice. Yeah, dude, I said the exact same thing. It's like, I think, hang on a second. Where is my meme? I can't remember where my meme is. I'll find it later. Anyways, you want to compare this to Highguard's numbers right now. Oh man, seen the teaser trailer to the new Tarkov game in development? Tarkov game in development? Do you mean the crossover with Dukov or something else entirely? We hit 117,000 today. First hero was 98,000, then 100,000, and then today they dropped the Werewolf Girl, and here we are. Game was averaging. Oh, well, they got the furry females. Something new, core. Interesting. If I wanted to make a run at a casting career, I'd 100% pick up Deadlock, though. Dude, God, Deadlock is doing some crazy numbers. Rename it to Low Guard at this point. I made a meme. Okay, hang on, guys. I gotta find the meme. And I've said some really mean things on Twitter lately, so I gotta make sure I don't pull up the wrong thing on stream. I don't mind getting like a naughty note on Twitter for saying something mean, but I have to make sure it's not something that'll get me banned on YouTube. Sometimes just things come out of me on YouTube and I don't know where it's coming from. Here you go. This is my meme I'm proud of right here. I love this one. So it's the oh god, what's this ass up here? He actually blocked me on Twitter for criticizing him and Michael Malice down here. You got Wildlight saying, "What's the problem with Highguard?" And then you got the Titan pilot saying it exists. I was pretty happy with this one. I was pretty amused. Not quite as good as the one that I used making fun of Jeff Keighley, but I'm not showing that on stream. Like, I am not risking that. Highguard looks boring. Highguard is boring. I mean, yeah, honestly, I think that I think I speak for everybody when it's like, no, I don't hate the game. I don't hate the people that made it. I know they couldn't make Titanfall 3. I get it. They're not, they don't own the license to Titanfall. It's not something that they have any control over. But is this really what they had to make? They spent 4 years, and God only knows how much money that they spent on it to make this, right? Yeah, I know most of my memes are pretty spot on, man. I'm pretty good at the meme game. I also did another one with the guy saying, come on, do something, and it was Highguard with their player numbers right. Highguard is to Titanfall like the sequel trilogy is to Star Wars. I will say that the sequel trilogy is to Star Wars more like what Apex is to Titanfall. Because you can tell that they're made to be similar, but they're just vastly different. But you can still see the similarities. There is nothing, I mean nothing similar between Titanfall and Highguard. My God. But yeah, you still got guys like this saying, bro, Highguard is so effing fun. Y'all are tripping on the hate. And I'm like, if you looked at the amount of people on a daily basis shilling for Highguard, saying how great it is, how fun it is, how amazing it is, and then you look at the player numbers, you go, if there's that many of you saying how great this game is, then why aren't more of you playing it? It doesn't make any sense. There's not a single character in Highguard I care about. Yeah. Oh, you sent me the core teaser. Awesome. I'll take a look at that in a minute. Release the Titanfall 3 files. My God, no. No more files. I can't take any more files. Oh, I miss Vic already. Vic Mignon? Which Vic are we talking about? Yeah, this is brutal, okay? So they had their 5v5. They put out the mode for 5v5, right? And, Legendary Drops talking about Arc Raiders budget. Said we would have gotten 5.5 Concords. Instead, we only got one game. Can you imagine what Concord would have looked like if they operated on Arc Raiders budget and only put $75 million into the game? They would have had like 2 characters, and they would have been both like trans or whatever. What are Ashes of Creation's current numbers? I think around 2,000 players right now. I'm pretty sure it's like right around 2,000. Damn close to it. Highguard is dead. I'm playing Arc Knights Infield. What is Arc Knights Infield? I've heard about that. I've not actually looked into it. Let's see. How much are their monthly server costs? Just curious if they need player count-wise to break even. Nonetheless, make money. So, I mean, dude, I don't even know what the cost of the servers are. They're a self-published, game. They don't have, like, massive money backing them up. They spent 4 years making the game. They have, studios in California. I think they're in California and Seattle. So you got to imagine they're in like some of the highest expense areas that you can be doing game development in. There's no way this game's going to make it the year. I thought that Highguard would actually make it at least a year before shutting down. I don't think there's any way they possibly could now. 2.3 now is the max, or max 3.6 thousand for the last 24 hours for AOC. Yeah, it's pretty abysmal, dude. It's pretty brutal. One character in Highguard I care about, and her model will be up for grabs probably pretty soon for artists to use in their animations. Yeah, Scarlet. Scarlet is a great-looking character. I know when Patriot was here, he's like, oh, no, modesty. I'm like, you know what? A little midriff is nothing immodest, okay? That was Anthem. And Anthem just shut down their servers, finally shut down like 2 weeks ago, something like that, right around the end of the year. And the crazy thing about Anthem is one of those games that people were always talking about, like, oh, the flying mechanics are so great and it's so beautiful. And then you see the same 20-second gameplay loop that everybody shares online and everyone's crying about Anthem. And you go, okay, that's cool. But nobody talks about the combat. Nobody talked about the story because they were awful, because it was empty. Oh, Vince Zampella. Oh, yeah. Why didn't I think? Oh, because you said Vic. I was thinking Vince, or Vic instead of Vince. Yeah, Vince Zampella. Their entire identity is counter-signaling normalcy. God, that describes a lot of people online. It's literally the only reason people decide to defend Highguard. It's because Chuds didn't like it. But it's not just Chuds, Serrano. It's not just the same anti-woke, racist, white, xenophobic, homophobic, bigot, blah, blah, blah. Look, The game has less than 5,000 people on Steam playing it right now across the world. Okay, anybody that would be on SteamDB could be playing this game right now, and they're not. Okay, so clearly it's not just a handful of bigots. It's a pseudo sequel to their previous gacha game, Ark Knights, which was a tower defense game. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, why is that stuck? I remember you mentioning that. Yeah, Anthem was the other one. New permanent mode. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, okay. Played Anthem with 2 buddies, can attest the mechanics are great, but also not enough to do right, Cage. That's what I'm saying. It's like everything is always the same. It's like the same clip people talk about online of how great it was, but there was just nothing else there. More people in the Highguard's Discord than in the game, probably. Yeah. So the reason it says new permanent 5v5 raid mode is because they put in the 5v5 for the weekend. They claimed it was going to be a temporary mode. Here's what happened. The biggest critique, and I said this myself, the biggest complaint I had about Highguard, besides the fact that it only had one game mode, and that game mode sucked because the 3v3 raid, where you can't actually fortify your base, there's no sieging the base. I mean, guys, go and play a game like Chivalry 2 and do an actual, castle siege map, right? That's an actual siege. And granted, that's small. There should be more people than 30 and 30 on the map. It should be more than that. I doubt there's more people playing across all the platforms, more than 10,000 players. Probably not. It's probably less than 10,000 at this point. But this game tried to combine too many elements of different aspects of different games that all did these same things better and didn't do anything excellent, and the game failed, right? It failed to meet what people were expecting it to be. The gameplay, the combat was fine. The horse mechanics were fine. The gunplay was fine. But everything else just felt just whatever. And so they put in this 5v5 mode because the main complaint was the maps are too big for the amount of players on it. Then you had people coming out and bitching, and I showed it on my last stream, complaining about the 5v5, saying, well, these maps weren't made for 5v5. It's going to mess up everything. The normies are going to ruin this game. And then they decided, well, you know what? We got pretty good reception to the 5v5 mode, so it's going to be a new permanent mode because they said it was only going to be temporary. So they said, you've been asking and we're happy to share. 5v5 raid mode is here to stay. We appreciate everyone hopping in over the weekend to give the mode a try. We saw a fairly even split between 3v3 and 5v5, which helped inform our decision. Yeah, because I tested it and I was not going to play 3v3 because I'd already played 3v3. 5v5 was better, but it wasn't enough to fix it, right? Let the game die. At this point, it's going to whether people want it to or not, man. The game is dead. Even Jason Schreier, of all people, can't defend it. I don't know. I don't see Jason Schreier or Paul Tassie's tweets very often. They both have me blocked. Let's try 12v12. Cragfire, we've talked about it. I don't know if you've been here for previous streams or not. I appreciate you dropping in, though. Really awesome that I'm getting some new viewers. But we talked about it extensively in the stream over the last couple streams, and there are a lot of things they could have done better to create a more sustainable, enjoyable match, right? The core game is still meh, exactly. Well, yeah, welcome in, bud. So the base sieges, right? The base raiding mechanic. You can fortify walls, which is simply hold down E or hold down whatever button on your controller to put a little bit of a patch on a wall. You get like 5 of those to start with. Go out and buy some more and patch a few more walls. Guess what? A siege weapon still knocks that wall down in no time, or you can actually melee it to death or whatever. None of the mechanics of defending or attacking the bases makes any sense. They bring in this big-ass battering ram after you unlock the gate, and the battering ram in 30 seconds knocks down the barrier and you go in. No way to stop the battering ram, no way to attack it. It's just 30 seconds of pandemonium standing there waiting for the inevitable, right? Doesn't really do anything. So if they were going to commit to the big maps and the actual siege mechanics, what they should have done is gone with a bigger player pool per server, per match, 12v12 maybe, add some NPCs and maybe some siege elements, and then you could do kind of an attack-defend thing. But what they wanted to do is they were trying to capture too many different elements from too many different types of games all in one game mode, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, they added 5v5, and it makes the combat more enjoyable because there's more people shooting each other at any given time, but it doesn't fix the core problem of the game, which is just the pieces just don't work together. That's the biggest problem. Let's go for 40v40 like a real raid. I mean, Avernum, the thing is that would fundamentally change the game entirely. And to a degree, I think they would have to dumb down the gameplay mechanics, like the actual combat mechanics, because the characters with the heroes, with the tactical abilities, the ultimates, the horses, the different guns, that, if you look at that compared to a game like Hell Let Loose, if we're talking big maps of like 50v50, attack, defend kind of things, if everyone on Hell Let Loose all had magical powers and a mount and everything else, it would be chaos, more than it already is. They would have to reduce the impact that each character had, I would say, as far as like what their tactical abilities are and everything else, if you're going to have like 40v40 on the map. Now, I'd enjoy it more. Oh yeah, no, Cage, I saw. Dude, there's so much to cover. I wouldn't have time to cover all of it. It's crazy. Like the stream slackers, it's all good. I'm terrible at like reminding people to go buy games on instant gaming and shilling for myself and I'm terrible at telling people to like the stream. You guys will find I'm not very pushy. I tend to be very laid back. Hundreds versus hundreds in PlanetSide 1 and 2, mega insane battles over huge maps and stuff. Yeah, but again, I think honestly it just means that it would make the game, like, I think there would be too much going on the screen if they left the characters exactly how they are and multiplied them times 20. I think that would be too much. I think they'd have to tone down the individual characters and all that. I'm a gentle lover. Only when no, I'm not going to say it. Everything's wrong. It's underdeveloped as fuck. No level up on anything. Only battle pass and cosmetics crap. What they have to point? Yeah, you're chill nerd. That's what matters. Yeah, I'm a chill nerd. I'm passionate about some things. I'll get mad about some things. In real life, I can have a short fuse, but I also don't hold grudges. So, yeah, it'd be too graphically dense is a great way to put it. It would be too much. Should get into the video game industry. Somehow you don't need people buying your product to get a paycheck according to that article's title, so long as the two people who play it equals success. Yeah. So this article came out today from GameSpot. Now, I'm pretty sure I've heard this quote from the developers at Wildlight Studios previously. This is, I think, something that they said a couple days ago. Highguard Dev says it doesn't matter if the game reaches 1,000 or 100 million people. This is a free-to-play game. Their only revenue source is microtransactions. If they don't have a large, like excessive large, amount of people to buy microtransactions, they're going to rely on like what 1 out of 100 people is going to pay for microtransactions, right? For the actual skins and cosmetics. So if you've only got 1,000 people and only 1 out of 100 is paying, then 10 people out of 1,000 are buying. That means that 50 out of 5,000 and so on and so on. That's not enough to keep this game going, right? What matters most is that the game is loved by the people who played this. Okay, for wanting to avoid the similarities to Concord. Hang on a second. Let me. This is really interesting. I didn't actually think about this ahead of time. Let me see. There is a quote that I cannot find, but I know that I've read it somewhere. They take the game offline. Can the 8,000 people who love it at all? Oh my god. Here was me. We're getting to the oversharing section. No, so there was a quote, and I cannot find it for the life of me. From one of the Concord developers talking about that they made the game that they loved. I don't know. Equilibrium, does that sound familiar to you? You've been around here a while. Really like the stream, exactly. Does this game have ice agents? No, I'm sure there are games that do. Roblox, although I don't ever want anybody to play Roblox. Roblox, I think, has like ice stuff where they're having people actually arrest them. Let me see here a second. Hang on. What is the actual quote? I have seen this article around somewhere, and for the life of me, I cannot find it. Expressed heartbreak over the failure of a project they loved and worked on for years. Despite low player counts and a swift mandatory removal from stores, team members highlighted their dedication, passion, and pride in the game's quality, describing it as a gut-wrenching experience. Something awesome. Despite poor reception and low player count, some creators felt that they made a solid and fun game. Yeah, I can't find the exact quote here. This might be it. I don't think this is the exact thing I was looking for, but this seems reminiscent in a way. It said, thank you, team. We made something awesome. Concord developers mourn the failed FPS that PlayStation pulled the plug on after just 14 days. Some of them played until the very end, or at least until they had to go to bed. Let me see here. Cannot thank this community enough for the amount of love and support. Thank you for being here, for being part of the journey. And again, what community, right? What community did they even have? Sorry to see it go, but I'm so lucky to get to have worked with Firewalk. I've had the chance to work with and learn from some of the most talented folks in the field. Interesting. I'm still gonna have to find that quote because the comparisons are off the charts, guys. Josh Hamrick, the game director. What was that here?
Presence.
Sure, there's a number of people who hate your game. Doesn't matter. What matters is the number of people who like your game over all the others because it's brave enough to do. You found it.
Hey man, I
Hell
love
yeah, man.
this many dollars worth.
Doesn't matter we spent millions of dollars making. What matters is the title is loved by the PPL that played it. This is why so many of the entertainment companies are failing. Sad. This is how you make money?
Well, Smeg, thanks again for the Australian 20, dude. You don't have to, man. I appreciate the hell out of you. The same thing goes for like what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream about the Grammys, the celebrities, the retards who don't understand basic concepts. Okay, if I decided to cover the Grammys, guys, I remember there was one that I had seen a video clip going around online from some moron. I think it was Za, or I can't remember what her name is, freaking pop singer retard, saying that I'm not governed by the government. I'm governed by God. Only God can govern me. And I'm like, technically, the word govern, to be governed by, is what makes up the word government, right? And I'm as anti-government as anybody could be. But it just cracks me up when somebody doesn't understand the basic meaning of words. And this is what it reminds me of, is these people who think, I love this thing I made. This thing I made makes me feel good about me. Oh, it has to make money? I didn't even think about that. It's like, you don't understand. Video games, media, it can be an art form. Absolutely. You can be artistic and creative with it and passionate about it. This is one of those things about life that is painful to have to learn, but people have to learn it at some point. Chasing your dreams and chasing your passion is admirable and wonderful and great up until a point. And at some point, and I've told my wife this, I've talked to my mom about this because, I've worked for my family my entire life. I'm taking over a business now. Technically, it's mine, and I have to buy it from my mom and everything else. And I'm the only one left in the family still doing it. And it's not even something that I love doing, but I don't hate it. It's not illegal. It's not immoral. It doesn't cause me, hours of misery and all this other stuff in my off time. And it pays the bills. So at the end of the day, am I better off to be crazy and spontaneous and chase some wild, half-assed dream that isn't going to provide for my family? Or do I settle for, I have a job, it's a good job, pays the bills, gives my family stability, and keeps a roof over my head? At some point, people need to realize you can be as passionate as you want to about something. But at some point, you do have to grow up and go, if you can't logically, realistically put that into a career that you can make money at, that you can be successful, that you can build something off of, your passion needs to be a hobby. You can keep your passion, but it's not going to be a job. It's not going to be a career. It's going to be your art. It's going to be something you do for creativity, Josh Hamrick, I'm going to have to remember that. Let me, I'm going to pin this message. People who come into the stream are going to be like, what the hell is this for? But I'm going to pin that because I want to go back to that later. Solid and fun is not enough when the devs live in California and the monthly cost of development is more than my yearly living wage. Exactly. Dude, DV, are you talking about taking a shit again? Oh my God. Building a game you want is well and good, but if you want to make money, sometimes you can't exactly. 10 years of living wages, yeah. Concord Dev's plaque thingy ended up in a Goodwill. Dude, that was so hilarious. They just care about tearing things down. They don't care about making money. They want society as it was, ripped to shreds and burned. Yeah. People also think we hand stuff out to brown people for free. Of course, they don't understand their game just existing isn't enough. Yeah. Yeah, you can't chase your passion when you destroy your future by doing so. A passion project has to be a hobby unless you're a millionaire or unless you have a viable way to make it a career. I will always say, like, if you have a passion project, but it is also, like, if you're sitting on a gold mine, like, your passion is also something that you could, like, flip into millions of dollars and have massive success doing, then chase that. That makes sense, but it needs to be something viable. You can't just be like, I'm passionate about X, Y, or Z, but not understand that nobody else cares about that thing, okay? Saying I can't make my Smurf prawn, I do it as a hobby and do a job. You can if you have a market for it. So QC, this is exactly what I'm saying. You can make anything into a career or a product if there is a market for it. So never would do my passion as a career unless I was the boss. If I were to have to hit quotas and such for something I enjoy, it would become less enjoyable. No, DBU, I 100% get it. Well, QC jerks, I'm just saying, if you were to do that, and if there were a market for it, then you could turn your passion into a viable career. But these people don't understand just being passionate about something doesn't justify its existence. You know, your passion doesn't deserve anybody's money. You have to give them a reason to want it. And look at this freaking god-awful clusterfuck of whatever the hell this is right here. These god-awful, wretched characters. I swear to God, this is just... You guys know why Concord failed? Just because designs like that, you know? So, yeah.
Are the best way
just crazy,
to
man.
show someone how much you care. It is like this tangible thing.
Yeah,
that
so
you can
getting back to
touch
this.
and say,
Ooh.
Hey man, I love you. This many dollars worth.
Recapitalism.
Okay, come on. You put in like 25 E's and she only read one of them. It's I'm sorry, man. It screwed you over. Let me see if I can find... I don't know if my voice mod's working. And honestly, I can't see a single one of these buttons because they've changed everything. So we're just going to avoid voice mod entirely. Failed because Miss Linebacker, Trash Can Man, and Captain Tupperware? Yeah. I like Fake Wizard. Yeah, I haven't watched any of his videos. He seems like a cool guy. I don't like the costume. I can respect, I understand people doing a bit and a gimmick and all that. I get it. Like Doomcock's whole, you know, penis head thing he does and everything else. But like, I don't know, something about the fake beard and the wizard hat bothers me. Kind of a fence sitter. I don't know, I've never watched a video. Never seen a video. It takes me a while to branch out and find new people to watch. Even if they exist in the same sphere as me, I don't always watch everybody. I liked him at first, but after a while it ticked me off, have an opinion. I mean, I'll have an opinion. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I have to be like, well, my opinion sucked. But if I said something and I was wrong, I admit it. Like the whole Hightail thing, not putting the game on Steam because it was incomplete and it was going to be bad. It's like, oh man, I was on the wrong side of that one, hardcore. Why is a giant yellow tunnel holding up Pillsbury Doughboy? Exactly, man. Exactly. Costumes dumb. Yeah, that's his gimmick. You know, that's his gimmick. Sometimes, yes, sometimes I'm wrong. Only sometimes. Come on. When they build their company, when they build a company by making an original co-op FPS game that they annihilate their gamers over mass criticism by fake allegations with fake news. That's a mouthful, man. You're making me work tonight. Yeah, for some people, the costumes are what makes them, you know, interested in the videos. So I get it. People like a gimmick. I understand it. So, Chad Grenier, the studio head at Wildlight Entertainment and director of free-to-play raid shooter Highguard, has said it doesn't matter how many people play the game. Dude, I can't get freaking what's-his-face out of my head going, Highguard.
I love you. This
Oh my God.
Recapitalism. Had to try again.
Oh my God. Whew. Okay. She sounded like somebody was strangling her or like she was hacking up a hairball or something there. Oh my God. Yeah, welcome to Highguard. Oh, Smeg, man. I owe you $2 for that. I should give you that money. That was worth it. Holy shit, man. Yeah. Okay, well, now we all know. Smeg found out for us that if you ever want it to work, you got to do the little dash in between. Oh, it's all good. No worries, man. Oh, yeah, that was golden, 100%. Well, ultimately got me to stop watching is when he said he'll keep watching the Star Wars TV shows, etc., Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, despite them being garbage. Stop watching, but with your money. Yeah, you know, the only one that I watch, and that's only because I already have Amazon Prime, is the Rings of Power show. And if I stopped paying for it, we go through so much stuff from Amazon, and I hate to admit that, it doesn't cost me anything extra to watch it, and then I watch it, I can critique it. I do not have any desire at all left in me to watch any of the Star Wars crap. Like, I watched the second season of Andor because the first season was decent, and so I'm like, well, I want to see the second season. I didn't watch freaking the one with Reva in it. I didn't, or was it Anakin? No, it wasn't Anakin. It was Obi-Wan. I didn't watch the Obi-Wan show. Didn't watch The Acolyte. Didn't watch, God. I won't watch The Mandalorian anymore. My wife and kids got through the third season of The Mandalorian. I caught bits and pieces. I'm like, this is shit. Now, The Mandalorian was always kind of cheesy, but it was like original Star Wars kind of cheesy, you know, PG-ish, which was good. It was fun. It was kind of like space western, you know, family kind of show. And my God, the third season was dog crap, you know. Don't understand why Jeff Keighley promoted Highguard. Either he did this on purpose or he has bad taste. He's got terrible taste. He's got really terrible taste. He does end his videos with, for God's sake, cancel Disney Plus. Well, maybe he's not paying for Disney Plus. Maybe he's torrenting it, you know?
I enjoy being liked.
Yo, Smeg, 5 gifted, man. Dude, you gotta stop. You gotta chill, man. Dude, if you got a gifty from Smeg, make sure to say thank you in the chat. Oh, you got Piranha Pout. Oh, she's awesome. Piranha Pout's hilarious. She's great. Let me see. Torrent like a motherfucker. Yeah, I still won't touch Rings of Power. Rings of Power is monumentally bad. But for me, it's that morbid fascination as somebody who loves Tolkien that I want to see how bad it can get. It's like I can't take my eyes off that train wreck. But yeah, I mean, the other bad shows that exist, I don't really watch them. And for example, like Kada. Kada does a lot of like reviewing. He watched, you know, he watched freaking Ironheart. And he turned Ironheart, one of the worst, least watched Disney Marvel shows ever, into his most successful YouTube series. He made like 7 videos reviewing Ironheart, and he did phenomenal. His videos gave me hours of entertainment. So there are positives to reviewing this stuff from a YouTuber's perspective, but I understand people going, well, you're telling me not to watch it, but then you go and watch it. It's like, yeah, I get that. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. Like I said, I liked more or less the Fallout show. It's not great, but I don't hate it. I'm still going to suffer through Rings of Power because I already have Amazon Prime. I have no desire to watch the Star Wars shows, though, for real. All right, Why Is That Stuck? Thanks for hanging, buddy. Appreciate it. I've watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. I stopped episodes 1 through 3. Space Western is Firefly. I've never watched Firefly. I need to watch that one, man. People who love Tolkien yet still watch Rings of Power, that feels to me like cuckold behavior. You watch something you love, it's like, dude, it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. I can't stop. I can't help it, man. You know, okay, my wife, we were watching, now I grew up watching the Willow movie. I loved the Willow movie with Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis, man. Willow was one of my favorite fantasy movies growing up. And then my wife and I, we saw the trailer for the Willow TV show on Disney Plus a couple years ago that was coming out. I'm like, I'm not watching this. I told her, I'm not watching it. Yeah, I've heard Firefly is really good. And I'm like, you don't understand. I loved Willow growing up. My wife fell asleep trying to watch the movie. I'm like, I'm not subjecting myself to that. That's going to destroy my childhood, right? It's kind of like what's happened with Star Wars, with modern Disney Star Wars. They've just obliterated my childhood, right? And so she made me sit there and watch it. And we got through the first episode, and I'm looking at her like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I got the lesbian night. I got all the diverse ethnic cast, the ugly ass redhead chick with the freckles that's in everything that's woke. I can't do this. We got up to episode 4. I think it was 4. So like halfway through the first season of Willow. I turned it on, and all the characters are running through the woods to some female band cover. And all the episodes of Willow, the first 3 or 4, all had modern rock songs at the end or beginning of them that were all covered by female-only bands, because of course it is, because it's female power, it's girl power, right? In the show, they made Willow a bitch. He's not really a sorcerer, he's a fake. Mad Mardigan, you know, Val Kilmer couldn't act anymore, but instead of saying he died in battle, he was basically like a deadbeat dad, he disappeared. They made all the male characters bitches in Willow. There's, you know, the female lesbian knight and her lesbian princess, and they're like badasses, and then there's like all the other guys are pussies. So we got into like episode 4, and the opening scene is they're running through the woods with like rock music playing in the background, and I turned it off. I'm like, I'm done. Can't do it. Can't do it. I'm done. Right? I straight up said, I got 30 seconds, and I'm like, we're done. I didn't realize how bad it would get. I watched Disparu's the episode finale, the season finale breakdown, and I was dying laughing. I'm like, I'm so glad I stopped watching this shit. Then they pulled the whole thing off the air, so I couldn't even go back and watch it if I wanted to. Thank God. Yes, Avernum, they pulled it off the air completely. I wish Battlestar was streaming somewhere. Isn't it on something? The Expanse? I've heard good things about The Expanse. Mentioning your wife after reading my comment is a bit sus. Don't do it. Oh my God. You're talking about the cut comments? Got 3 episodes in The Ring of Power. My blood pressure got too high, to be honest. I worship Tolkien, and that show makes me feel like an evangelical boomer hearing someone badmouth Israel. Oh, yep, exactly. You get it. You get it. You understand. That's why you gotta try to watch anime. That's where the entertainment... Dude, I get it. I understand. People say great things about anime all the time, but I don't know, man. Mandalorian and Grogu season 1 was good, better than Disney Star Wars trilogy. I can't stand Pedro. Dude, I hate Pedro Pascal. The minute he took the freaking helmet off on Mandalorian, I was done. If he'd have just kept it on, I'd be like, I'm okay with this. I can deal with this. I can deal with this. No, Acolyte's not coming back for more. Acolyte is dead. Acolyte, they've tried like to bring it back unsuccessfully multiple times. The Acolyte in its current iteration is not coming back. Hey, Battlestar Galactica, purely because it was the reason for Stargate Universe getting greenlit and doing the entire franchise. Dude, Stargate, I don't have any hope for that. The original movie, and even then the TV show spinoff, were both really good. The Stargate with James Spader and, oh God, what's his name? Well, I can't remember his name. Kurt Russell. That movie was fantastic, dude. So much better. Yeah, it's not going to get any better because Dave Filoni's a retard. He's no different than Kathleen Kennedy. Okay, so Chad Grenier, studio head at Highguard at Wildlight, said it doesn't matter how many people play the game. Speaking to Polygon, he said whether it gets 1,000 people or 100 million people, it doesn't matter. What matters most is that the game is loved by the people who played it. Now, I'm going to pull up this pinned tweet, and we're going to find this article that I was talking about. Thank you again, QC Jerks, for finding that. I knew I wasn't crazy. I wasn't crazy. The truth is that the number of people what was his name again? His name was... So bad I can't remember this dude's name. That's how irrelevant freaking Concord was. Josh Hamrick. Dude, it makes total sense that Firewalk Studios was in freaking Washington, up in Seattle area. Wait, Josh Hamrick on Twitter. I'm sorry we let you down. We're working our asses off to turn around and bring the hobby back, though. I feel like the last few updates have released. That was in regards to Destiny. Let me see. Let me see if I can narrow this search down a little bit. The number players. It's weird. I'm not finding an exact quote from him regarding this specifically. There was stuff from him talking about like Destiny and all that when he worked on Destiny, but Huh. Weird. Helena Troy Black now? Yeah, I saw that. Oh, no, I appreciate it, QC Jerks. I'm just not finding the exact quote. That's all. Love Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I don't understand how any of the Dragon Balls are any different. When you love CW, but you know the Filoni slander is true. Hey, Zab, there's nothing wrong with liking the Clone Wars cartoon. I never saw it, but I know that people liked it. That's fine, you know? Cool. I'm glad that people who watched it enjoyed it. That's awesome. But I know that Dave Filoni is not any better than Kathleen Kennedy. So it's just going to be a total shit show. Ask Grok to find it. I don't think so. I don't think Grok is going to know his head from his ass at this point. ChatGPT is actually superior to Grok, which is terrible to say, but it's true. I'm in a minority thinking that SGU was fine up until they started using those weird little beetle communicators to keep talking to Earth. I wanted to fully displace. I don't remember any of that. Last Starfighter. Oh my God. Yeah. That's like my freaking childhood there. Someone in NBS's chat called her Felon of Troy, and I started cracking up. God. Yeah, see, Equilibrium, Clone Wars are goated. I understand. There are people who like Clone Wars, man. That's cool. That's awesome. You know, that's how I feel about anime. That's great. If you have an anime that you enjoy, that's awesome. I just never saw the Clone Wars. Oh, Last Starfighter, man. Oof. Fantastic movie. They don't make shit like that anymore. He added that his hope is that Highguard becomes a game that people love and becomes part of them. Highguard launched in late January, reached nearly 100,000. Yeah, we know. So before this, the lead designer Mohammed Alavi said that Wildlight was focused on finding a core passionate community, then trying to grow from there. Alavi said, "We don't need player counts to be super huge in order to be successful." What he's saying is we need a few whales. Okay, that's what they're saying. Also in the interview, Wildlight's Dusty Welch, the team considered making Highguard a paid game as opposed to free. However, it just didn't fit in where we wanted to go as a company. No, what happened is they knew that if they made it paid to play, people wouldn't buy it. That's it. Welch did not cite any examples, but one paid game that is enjoying significant success is the $40 game Arc Raiders, which just passed 11 weeks in a row as the #1 most played game on Steam. Has hundreds of thousands of daily players and sold more than 12 million units. Again, these games have nothing in common except people's time and attention. We need a few whales. Good news. There's plenty of fat woke girls. No, when I say whale, I mean the people that spend like insane amounts of money on microtransactions. The people that pay for the gacha games, people that are going to spend the tens of thousands of dollars on, you know, loot boxes and gambling in games. Those are the whales they're looking for. They didn't say it, but you know that's what they're looking for, is somebody who's going to be a dedicated, hardcore, addict, if you will. Stargate was basically a humanity fuck yeah story before those became popular. I mean, yeah, you get the one teenage kid who played an arcade game from Earth in the middle of nowhere, throw him into a mix of aliens and bad guys, and he's the guy who saves the entire galaxy. I mean, Last Starfighter is as pro-human a movie as that. It's probably more pro-human than what the Starship Troopers was intended to be from the get-go. Agreed, it was a little weird, but I watched in the middle of the night. We talking about Stargate was basically humanity fuck. Oh, I thought you meant Starship Troopers. But no, I mean, Starship Troopers was... Not Starship Troopers, my God, my brain's melting. Last Starfighter, too many words with stars in them. Yeah, not Stargate. Stargate was good, though. Weird sexual thing with the body switch. I don't know. I don't think I watched that, guys. I watched the Stargate show that was on TV back when I was a kid, and the Stargate movie with Kurt Russell. That was it. Starship Troopers was fine too, and it was not satire. Exactly. Yeah, Last Starfighter, like I said, that's probably the most pro-humanity, pro-human movie that you'll ever find. It's like the anti-Avatar. Permaban said 5v5 instead of 3v3, limited time mode. Why pass it off like it's something so revolutionary, experimental? So much that you have to make it limited time. 5v5 is the standard for baseline for a MOBA style gameplay loop, and it's still silly that that pseudo MOBA has no creeps. And again, not having any NPCs in the game, pretty stupid. Okay, so this is probably where we will leave off for tonight, because it kind of encapsulates everything wrong with the disconnect between gamers, game developers, and the media, right? From PC Games N, Highguard's rocky release proves that Steam reviews aren't fit for purpose. Again, these same people, the journalists who attacked Sven Vinka for saying that, you know, we shouldn't allow reviewers to review things poorly without critiquing the reviewers, and maybe reviewers should have a review score, right? Those same people that got mad at Sven Vinka for saying that they should review the reviewers are now saying that Steam reviews aren't fit for purpose. If there wasn't enough proof already, Highguard's review bombing shows that Valve needs to change its archaic system to battle bad actors. It's like this, guys. If a game gets negative reviews on Steam unfairly, you can go into the Steam reviews and read why they gave it a negative review. In the cases of games where it's a culture war thing, woke versus anti-woke, and it gets review bombed, you can read it in the review for yourself, right? You can see like games like Soul Ash 2 or whatever, they got review bombed for not having gay relationships in the game. People said, I've played this game for 100 hours, it's the best game I've ever played, but the developer's homophobic. Developer, you know? So, okay, so you know that it's going to be something that you're going to want to play then, right? So there's context that reviews can have added to them based on what people actually review the game, you know, based on what criteria they're using. Saying simply, we need a better system than letting gamers review games for themselves is the kind of shit you imagine games journalists, you know, have always thought, and now they're saying it out loud. Aren't fit for our narrative, right? Watched the video on YouTube on Last Starfighter, super interesting and really pushed 3D computer tech. Dude, it was really ahead of its time, I think, honestly. 100 hours in the queue waiting for a match, yeah. Yeah, they cheer when they review bomb games by conservative devs, exactly. Highguard is better than you'd expect given the Steam ratings. It launched to a barrage of bad reviews, averaging extremely negative within minutes on Valve's storefront, despite it being impossible for anyone to have played enough to come to a genuine conclusion in the seconds since it launched. No, people weren't reviewing it within seconds. People had like 10 or 20 minutes in and were reviewing it. Now, to be fair, yeah, that's a little too early, but a lot of those people also couldn't get into a match. If you are trying to play a free-to-play game the day it launches and it's supposed to be ready to go, and it doesn't even hit 100,000 players, and there are other games pushing 400,000 or 500,000 concurrent players and never having problems connecting to a match, people are entitled to their opinions. People are allowed to be mad about that. You're allowed to say, well, I tried to play the game and I couldn't connect to a match, you know?
Jorno's upset #1 listens. Hence these articles.
Yep, Jorno's upset no one listens, exactly. Dude, that's exactly why they do it. And thanks for the 2 Smeg, appreciate you, dude. Gotta be honest, Highguard's not woke, it's just bad. Yeah, exactly, Geek. It's the most generic, somebody described it as the most inoffensive, generic thing possible. How's the Star Wars mod for Starfield? It looks pretty incredible. Not gonna lie, it looks pretty awesome. I just don't care, because again, for me, Star Wars has been kicked in the nuts so many times, I just don't give a shit about it anymore. So, not the game that's woke, but the developers are. I bet on that fact. Yeah, I've earned them for sure. And guys, I did pretty much confirm as much as I possibly could. I'm pretty sure the community manager for Wildlight Entertainment, that Alex Frostwolf character, I'm pretty sure it's a woman. She's married to a guy. I did a little research on that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's a biological female. It doesn't make a difference. She's still an idiot. She still hates gamers. She does the typical female bullshit rhetoric. But yeah, no, look, it's the same thing as Marathon, right, guys? Bungie in its current state, it's 90% a bunch of like woke lunatics and shit. And that doesn't mean that there aren't some talented people at the studio. There are people that work at those studios that are basically held captive, where they're not allowed to say their opinions, talk about their own beliefs, and they just kind of have to put their head down and do their work. The problem is, those guys are always going to be handicapped by the people who are always worried more about activism and ideology than putting out a good, competent product. Again, not understanding that video games are first and foremost a product. It's not about, you know, putting your own beliefs into it. Crazy we needed research. You know, Geek, you just never know. You just never know, man. Always look at the hands. Dude, I did as much digging as I possibly could into that person without actually like going full private eye mode. And, you know, manly hands or not, there's not much else showing me that it's not an actual woman. Now, I'm not gonna go. You went there? Watch your videos, it's a woman. Yeah. All right, Cage, take it easy. Ask AI. AI wouldn't answer. AI is all whacked out. All right, so it says this average rose only to mostly negative the next day and is now settled at mixed as players have had a chance to actually appraise the game. This farce of a Steam launch is no fault of developer Wildlight Entertainment. However, the blame lies with bad actors and Steam's outdated review system. We found that among players who'd actually played more than 5 hours of Highguard on its opening day, a far more respectable 78% of them had left a positive review. Again, they're going back to this argument that Fran Mirella guy was saying, or Mirabella, that, well, if you play the game longer, you're more likely to leave it a positive review. If I like the game, I'm more likely to play it longer. It works both ways. If I don't like the game, I'm going to play it less time, which means if I play the game less time, I'm going to leave a negative review. This tells me two things. Firstly, Highguard is good. No, it's not. No, it's not. Look, I was willing to try the game. I tried 4 or 5 matches of 3v3. I tried 3 or 4 matches of 5v5. There's nothing about the game that has me yearning and craving, like, coming back to play it. Trust me, I get hooked on a good game. If there's a great game, if there's a great game, then I will play it. Both Brave AI and Copilot said it's a guy. No way, man. Doesn't matter when the question is he, she, or retard, then the answer is yes. Well, okay, to be fair, if they're confused about which one they are, there's a pretty, you know. Let me see here. It's not blowing audiences away, but it's a solid start for a live service game. Secondly, Steam reviews are not fit for purpose. We've all seen review bombing. Several Paradox interactive games suffered review bombs last year with the famously alt-historical Hearts of Iron 4, which was lambasted for its new DLC revisionism. Games get review bombed for being too woke, i.e. having any representation of non-white or LGBT characters, and now Highguard has been review bombed for the crime of being shown at the Game Awards. Dude, guys, this is a video tomorrow. I'm going to save this article, and this is going to be a video tomorrow. Holy shit. This man is unhinged. Like, thank you. I didn't even realize how bad this article was until I started looking at it. Just prove these people aren't gamers? Yeah. Like, you're telling me the game is good, far better than the Steam reviews would imply, when the game has nothing going for it. Problem is when it's always these guys pretending to be girls who always have the most toxic feminist narrative being spewed. Dude, isn't it funny, man? QC Jerks, isn't it really funny? The ones that are always, like, it's always the male to female, right? And then they want to identify as a woman, and then they hate men, and they hate toxic masculinity, and you go, that's why you think you're a woman, because you can't handle being a guy. Grok, yes, Alex Frostwolf. Full name appears to be Alex Ackerman, based on LinkedIn and professional references as a biological woman. Yeah, I mean, but to QC Jerk's defense, Grok is pretty unreliable, too. Tried to shut on the Knight's Tale dev for not focusing on agenda. Exactly. Meanwhile, they're still harassing the Soul Ash dev. Yeah. You needed to play it for 50 hours and then it starts to be good. It's the craziest thing. Like, what is this? What is this need for everything to be played to death before you're allowed to criticize it? I don't understand. Like, oh, okay, here you go. This is the kind of gaslighting he does. This year, he convinced a brand new indie studio to cobble together a bad trailer to fill the coveted final slot. Nobody was more disappointed than I. Sure, okay, sure you are. When the trailer that said from the makers of Titanfall 2 showed a game that demonstrably isn't Titanfall 3, but did that make me want to tank its launch? No, because I'm a normal person. In all caps, normal person. Oh my god. Woo. Oh man. If I had to play hundreds of hours to form an opinion, I wouldn't be able to have an opinion of most any game I've played. Yeah, he took the normal person. Isn't that Stuttering Craig's thing from Side Scrollers? His normal man. He's just a normal man. Reminds me of the stance these people were taking on the last Marvel movies being good when clearly they're not. Yeah, and that's the thing, Cragfire. This is like, you know, I saw Kata over on Twitter. He's been having some banger tweets going off like nonstop. He quote tweeted somebody showing the Thor Love and Thunder fight between Zeus and Thor and female Thor and all this shit, right? When they're in, I guess, what's supposed to be Athens or Mount Olympus. And what's crazy is I'd never seen that scene before. I'm watching that scene going, holy shit, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And somebody's like, oh, come on, if you've watched anything from Marvel, it's the same crap as all the last of their 20 films. I'm like, no. There is a point where Marvel films are goofy and they're comic books and it's not supposed to be realistic, obviously. But there was a point where they went from being, you know, you have to suspend belief, obviously, to watch a superhero film where they were still decently made and enjoyable to where it was complete dog shit. And Thor Love and Thunder kind of encapsulates that. But you're supposed to say it's great because, again, you know, representation, right? Strong women. There's 5 games in my life I have multiple hundreds of hours in. Yeah, I'm something of a normal person myself, exactly. God is cringing right now like I did watching Phantom Menace. Oh my god. Yeah. What's a normal woman? Don't ask them what a woman is. They'll never be able to tell you that. The issue isn't people wanting to tank Highguard's launch. It's the fact they're able to. Steam reviews are an imperfect method of judging a game at any time, but free-to-play games have it much worse. Games that cost $70 have that upfront cost to protect them from bad faith reviewers, even if someone was so intent on posting a bad review that they plan to buy the fame. Motherfucker, you are a journalist. Learn to proofread your word. Holy crap. Leave the review and then refund it within Steam's generous allowances. That cost puts enough people off that it rarely constitutes a full bomb and it lands amid the genuine reviews like a light smattering of SMG around spreading this. This retard thinks that people won't buy a game, play it for 10 minutes, and then get a refund after leaving a negative review. Holy crap. All right. Wow. Yeah. No, I'm gonna take a few of these articles. We're gonna piece them together. And this is going to be what I work on tomorrow night. Unless there's something else bigger that comes out. Ashes of Creation has some massive news or some shit like that. This is something I feel much more comfortable talking about because I've got a few hours of video footage on my computer playing Highguard, you know? And it's like, I did the work. I put the time in. I was carrying my team a couple matches. I was trying my hardest to enjoy the game for what it is. And I don't find myself having any desire to play the game. Like, again, if a game's good, I'm going to get hooked on it, okay? I've got over 100 hours in Arc Raiders now, as somebody who has no time to play games. I'll play a game if it's good, you know? Most writing journalists purposely leave errors in their writing in an attempt to prove that AI did not help with the writing. Could be that this moron left that goof on purpose. Won't cover Jeffrey being a WoW player. I have no desire at all. I did the work. That description of playing a game is more telling than you understand. It felt like work. I'm not even kidding, man. They can't bitch about low play time reviews when the devs themselves promoted or sponsored a Discord quest. They gave 700 orbs for 15 minutes of game time. And here's my biggest problem. I'm not even going to finish the article right now. My biggest problem, this Morrowind thing was interesting, but we'll do that at a different time. My biggest problem with the entire thing is the concept that somehow, if the game had any sort of buy-in on Steam, despite the fact that we all know that Steam will let you refund a game after 2 hours, if there's some sort of buy-in on Steam, that would somehow block people from leaving negative reviews and review bombing, right? That somehow that would be the magic miracle cure to all this crap. But it's not, because they could buy the game and refund it for nothing. Like, no skin off their back. Buy a game. Look, I bought Valheim. I bought Valheim when it first came out. Didn't know for sure what I was getting into. Didn't love it at first. It was running like crap on my computer. It runs better now, not just because my computer's better now, but just in general, I think they've fixed some of the coding issues. And I hated the game. I thought about it after I got a refund, played it for 45 minutes, got my refund, and then a week later, I'm like, I need to give that game another chance. And I bought the game again, and I played it, and I love it. And now it has a positive review from me, and I love the game. But again, the reality is, I had the right to play it for 45 minutes, leave a negative review if I chose to, and get a refund. Nothing about the way that the Steam system works right now would change whether a game is free to play or whether you pay for it. It's just bullshit cope from journalists that for whatever reason have attached themselves to this game, you know? I have to say, I do have fun taking articles like this and having AI rewrite it as a hillbilly wrote it. No. Oh. I don't even care about pro-choice. I prefer a relationship instead of a combative bitch with BPD. Oh, man. Best part of the game is there is no good or bad game. Depends on what your side you stand on. Some idiot journalist, probably just like the Acolyte actor, they have no effing idea what they're on. That doesn't make any sense, though, to me, is why journalists would be shilling for this game unless they think... Like, guys, tell me if I'm off base here. Is there some benefit for journalists sticking up for Jeff Keighley? I mean, other than getting an invite to the Game Awards, getting a free ticket, getting flown out or comped, maybe these journalists feel like if they're too harsh on Highguard, then they won't get invited to the Game Awards. Is it the access? Write some normal, then has AI rewrite them as a helmet wearing window licker. Dude, I don't even bother writing them at this point. I haven't written a scripted video in God only knows how long, which is why my videos are cobbled together these days. Because I wait till the end of the day and it's just my brain on exhaustion, you know. They love their modern slop so much. So effing much and own the chuds and toxic gamers. You're not wrong, Matt Adam. You're not. But yeah, it's the access, right? It's not about him per se. It's all about them. It's about protecting the press and keeping devs on their side. They still think they can get form public opinion. And you know, President Trump guy, I care too. I am very much anti-abortion. So that's one of those things that I don't have much flexibility on, you know? But when it comes down to it, it's like, if people were living their lives a certain way, abortion would be relatively even unnecessary for most people. But you can't dictate how people are going to live, unfortunately. People are going to make their own choices. In truth, your cobbled videos come out leaps and bounds better than some of the scripted shit out there, so good on you for that. Hey, you know, I appreciate it. There are a lot of nights where I am working on a video and I'll start off feeling good about it, and then my brain will hit a brick wall and I will scrap the entire thing and start over. Most time when I put a video out, it's not the first attempt, it's the second, third, fourth, or fifth. And if I can't get on a tangent and just talk for 15 minutes straight, and then I'll clip some parts out if I need to, I typically start from the beginning. That's just the way my brain works, you know? Baby mama culture is wild. For real, dude. Yeah. Not a slop factory. I've done it. I've been the slop factory before. When I was first growing my channel, there were some things that I dug into and did a lot of research on. They were fascinating. It was fun. It was crazy. A lot of crazy topics. The whole Assassin's Creed Shadows thing with what's-his-face, Thomas Lockley, and all the... Dude, I had people in my comments that were from Japan saying, look into this thing, and I'm reading through a Japanese website and having to translate stuff. Like, that was crazy fun. But then there's other times where it's like, I'm just going to sit here and read somebody else's article. And it, you know, anymore, I want to find a good balance where I can still get a video made where I can take enough time to put some energy and effort into it and not have to spend 3 or 4 hours editing the whole damn thing just to get it to come out right, you know? It's finding that balance that's tough. But, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys for still being here with me, you know? It's been an interesting journey. Interesting ride so far. All right, guys, I'm going to hit the hay. And like I said, I'll probably be talking about Highguard and this retard tomorrow because, holy crap. This might be the biggest Cope article I have seen in a very long time. Like, this is, wow. You know? Oh, I appreciate it, Smeg. Making commentary on football, baseball games is easy money online. I couldn't do it, man. Oh, 2025 was slow, man. 2025, work, life, stress, baseball, all-star season for baseball, fall baseball. Those things are still going to be a factor, guys. I'll probably have at least one kid on an all-star team in the summer. My kids are going to want to do sports in the fall. We got spring baseball coming up, but I will still be doing something. I'll still be getting some stuff out there. Don't worry about that. It was more also the move and the deflated feeling of YouTube just kind of grinding everything to a halt. I don't know. There are moments where you realize it's like, look, I'm just a dude talking to a camera. You guys are hanging out in here. We're all having a good time. And it's not really like I need to impress anybody. but you do have this feeling a lot of times that you just are failing at what you tried to do. You know, it's like you're going to invest your time in it. You want it to be successful, even if it's not like, oh, I need to have a 10 million sub channel and thousands of viewers and millions of dollars of donations. Like, you know, sounding like Bernie Sanders there for a second. It's more just about feeling like I'm not constantly hitting my head into a wall with YouTube. Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, typically, I probably won't have a, probably won't do a Wednesday stream this week. I don't know, we'll see. We will see. Last week, guys, doing 3 streams and getting videos made, I was beat by the weekend. Yes, and the Seahawks are going to win on Sunday. There's no question. #1 defense against the Patriots. I mean, come on. Seahawks have got this in the bag. That's my streams. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, actually. I find that the Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing is the same schedule as a lot of people. It's crazy. Patriots? Well, we'll see. Oh, my God. Tax the rich, Sanders. Yes, tax the rich, except not him, right? Yeah, and Cragfire. Oh, no, I meant the sucking part. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't tend to delve too much into, like, straight up, oh, I'm going to share all my political takes on this. Now, we'll talk once in a while. Something will come up political, and the people who don't want to talk about politics and stuff and real world crap, they'll nope out for a different stream. Most of my streams are still going to have something to do with video games or entertainment. Like this guy I was going to talk about, this Scotty K fitness dude. It was really weird, really creepy shit from this dude. But he is in the game sphere because he's a fitness influencer, but he also is like massively into Fallout, and he had a podcast with that Baddie Streams guy from Twitch. So tangentially connected to streaming and gaming and all that. Yeah, I appreciate it, Crackfire. Absolutely. Seattle sucks to the... Oh, dude, for real. I was just in Seattle on Sunday. I hate going to Seattle. That whole Mariners Fan Fest thing, biggest shit show ever. My kid's 13th birthday was yesterday, and we came home feeling like we failed because it was an awful, miserable experience, man. It was terrible. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you want to jump in the Discord, there's about, I don't know, a couple dozen of us. Pretty normal. Things stay pretty chill in there. Nobody ever goes to try to kill each other. Streamer drama, yes. Which does kind of fall into my wheelhouse. I do kind of enjoy the streamer drama, not gonna lie. I don't watch reality TV. I don't do soap operas. I don't do any of that crap. Streamer drama is interesting to me. It's interesting. It's fascinating. YouTube keeps eating your messages. What is YouTube doing, man? Failed because the city sucks. Oh, man. The Spicy Ashes Discord channel's on a 30-minute slow mode. Holy crap, dude. That's crazy. Arguing there was fun. You know, Zav, man, you've been there with me, and I didn't have any fun with it, dude. And it wasn't your fault. Matt's friend was a straight-up dick. Like, if he could have been a little more respectful, that's one thing, man. But he was a straight-up dick. Like, not even remotely worth leaving in there. But because he was Matt's friend, I didn't want to say anything. Quarter circle jerks, I went ahead and gave you the verified role in case you have any trouble if you're on mobile. Look at me, I'm Helen of Troy now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Helen of Troy thing is fun. It's interesting. I can't send in a single message no matter how I tried it. Really? That's strange, man. No, we had some blowout, knockdown, drag-out fights on the old Discord. But that was still my Discord from when I was streaming on Twitch. It wasn't really meant to carry over with YouTube. And it was kind of good to start fresh. It was necessary, man. So, all right, guys. Yeah, no, Odyssey's going to be a shit show. They got freaking like a Chinese guy, an Indian guy. It's just, okay. It's Greek to me, apparently. I love Big Lake. What? What? Never mind. I don't want to know. Automod probably deletes messages that look like spam. Oh, okay. Got you. All right. I'm gonna go, guys. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Yeah, we're gonna end with loving big labia, because that's apparently a thing. All right, I will try to have a video done tomorrow night, uploaded wee hours in the morning, because that's what I do, man. That's just what we do anymore. I'm sticking with that, guys. I'm gonna keep doing my uploads at the end of the day because that's what I started doing years ago, and that's what seems to work for my channel for whatever strange reason. And I'll let y'all know on YouTube Wednesday afternoon, morning-ish, if I feel like doing a stream. There probably will be enough to do it, and we'll just talk on Wednesday night. So, all right, appreciate it, QC Jerks. Awesome. Got mad because last time you got backlash for all the white cast for Oppenheimer? Probably. Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, all of you, it's been fantastic. Probably the best Monday stream I've had in a long time, and it's because of y'all, you guys. It's been a lot of fun, so I will catch you guys hopefully Wednesday, and if not, by Friday at the latest. Not all.